we doing intros?
Do people know us?
Yeah, do they?
I guess it depends on whether whether or not you want these to be able to stand alone or if you're
Oh, you're right
Stand
though, because
up.
I always consider like archives and stuff. Because the thing is, people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
come into the streams, I'm like, oh, people won't hear this. I'm like, people who watch the archives will hear this. So it's like, okay.
Yeah,
Who actually watches the VODs? Like, wait, what? How do you have like hundreds of views on your VODs?
It started doing that like a couple weeks
Yoshi,
ago.
you got it?
Who watches VODs?
I'm wondering
I
if it's
occasionally go watch VODs of others.
I wonder if VOD views are now cumulative, like if they come from people viewing during the stream as well, and it just automatically gets added to the VOD or something. Because I don't know what else. Because the thing is, my like highlights and stuff, they have like, 2 views or whatever. But then it's just the VODs, the normal VODs,
Yeah.
which is like very suspicious to me. I don't know. It's weird.
But yeah, that you
Yoshi,
put.
Boo just asked if
on YouTube.
he can play Mario Bros with you.
Sure. Let me
Oh yeah.
do the thing.
Yeah, that you put the first one on YouTube with a number 1 marker on it.
Yes.
Seems to indicate that you're keen to do more than 2.
Oh,
My
absolutely.
case.
The main thing was it was on you to come up with topics, and I was like, I don't want to put that pressure on you.
Oh,
So last we left off, we got to the 4-4, so we'll see if we can beat the game this time, maybe.
4-2.
no.
So yeah, I think it would be good to introduce ourselves at the beginning of each of us.
Yeah,
We're gonna.
sounds good to
I
me.
figure out a name too.
Cool. Yeah, that's not my job. I may just break this away from just you two as well and make it my own thing. I don't know. I'll see how much
It
MH
will be
I'll
me,
the idea.
my own thing while I play TGM. Haha, you can't put the whole thing in.
Yeah, I know, it's so sad. It's just 392.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, I'm Nathan. I guess I'm like not co-host today. I guess I'm host because I'm the one who comes up with everything.
You kind of
Okay.
are, but it's like... It's one of
Not
those
much
weird
control
things where it's like
controls
not your
in
stream,
this
but you
game.
do the...
Quote unquote hard work.
What's the guy who's like not the host, but he like drives the conversation?
Moderator.
Moderator, right? There you go. Exactly. Harry's why am I never invited? Do we need to invite you?
Does it work with more than 3 people?
That was my main thing. Does it get too crowded after that
This
point?
is kind of why I want to break off to do it on my own.
Right.
I'm
Because
90% sure it doesn't even
MHL
work with 3 people.
I think like 3 per session. So if we're ever missing someone, maybe we can insert someone as well.
And by
In
someone,
future
you mean me.
installments.
I would also like to do just one-on-one things where I get to ask someone like MHL like super specific questions about things that we can't really talk about easily over chat.
In a group as well, right? Like that
Oh,
sort of thing where
one-on-one
your
in a group,
one-on-one
yeah.
is easier in that sense. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of stuff would be interesting too. But again, I'm.
Like I can't have really deep conversations about philosophy stuff in a group edit.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting.
And I think if we ask
Blah,
I
blah,
think the
blah.
types of questions I would ask MHL would alienate the other person in conversing.
That's understandable. Yeah, I can see that being the case. And especially if you already have this connection with someone, it's easy to.
Yeah, I was
Like-
about to say that too. We've got a back history of conversation.
I was gonna
now
say
as
so.
well,
Now it makes sense for that
which
to be
no
the
one else is
case.
in on.
Yeah. Cool.
Like,
cool.
it would make sense for MHL and I to bring up the Chinese farmer, but no one else has any idea what that story is about.
No. Oh, the latency. I might have to switch to 1 player if this ends up being a problem, because like, okay, this is. I didn't think there'd be latency because there's 1 player at a time. I thought they could do this right. This is so unfortunate.
How is this not just like sharing the inputs?
Right? I was like, how can? What's the problem? How is
Like,
there
Play
latency?
inputs locally, show video locally.
I
like,
was
run
gonna
that particular
say.
thing, and send the inputs to other player. And then
Because that's how NES games worked anyway. You don't have like... Or like
Yeah.
a lot of them are, at least. Like the platformers especially, yes. There was just 1 person playing it. This is so silly. So silly, Nintendo. Hold on. My parents are cooking no food for me tonight. What, Tenor? You can't talk? What happened? Jeez, I can't. I don't know if I can play this Boo. Boo, you can go for one
Oh,
round and then
okay.
I'll switch back to one player because, sorry, this is terrible connectivity.
Anyway, yeah, are we gonna introduce ourselves?
Yeah, so you introduce yourself. We also call him Xyrnq.
Yeah,
We often
yeah,
just
I'm
call him Xyrnq. I was like unsure if you're like,
yeah.
you have a preference. Do you have a
I
preference?
definitely prefer xyrnq, but xyrnq is fine. This is what I've like leaned into now.
Oh, okay, and then preference over your actual name.
Yeah, I
How
guess
about
so.
that? It's preferred over your actual? Because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
introduce
yeah.
yourself with your actual name, and I was like, oh,
Did I?
the only person, yeah.
Oh,
Guess that
I
was
don't
just out
remember.
of habit.
Yeah,
Because the only person that really calls you that is Reason, I think. So
yeah, Reason does. I don't think MHL even does.
there you go. See,
I
it was
think
just out of habit.
Kevin and Zach call me. Oh, what is it? xyrnq.
xyrnq, yeah.
Yeah.
So goofy.
So,
Okay, give you
yeah,
a sec.
I'm
Cool.
moderator / hosty kind of person. I'm the person who comes up with the subjects.
He's a big nerd.
Yeah, I'm big nerd. I was
He's
actually
also a
thinking about
bully.
that today. We'll
Oh.
get to that.
Okay,
Xyrnq is
interesting.
nerd.
Hembota, welcome him as well. We know Hembota.
Yes.
He's
Hi,
cool.
Hambota.
He
Hambota
calls-
is like the real host.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He manages everything.
Alright.
I also call Zero. Yes.
Alright. What was I gonna say? You two should introduce yourself.
Yes, Tanner, who are you?
I'm Tenor. I'm bad at Tetris and Puyo.
That's your intro, right?
Yeah, Boo says he's Boo and he sucks, which is untrue. I'm
Untrue.
gonna have to say no to that one.
Yeah, Boo. Boo, if you just want stuff to be seen in the what do you call it? The stream chat will be useful because then it will show up in the VOD and
Fucking
everything if
stream
you want to
chat.
talk, because otherwise
Yeah.
we'll like be answering you and then like everyone's like, what are you talking about? I'm behind the Yoshi blob and history. Don't forget history, Tanner. That's true. Tanner's really good with history, as we saw in
Last-
a TGM
No,
stream.
no.
It was during the TGM stream. And me?
Yeah, I'm good with history because my house teacher is gamer.
Anyway, you Yoshi.
Yes, I'm Yoshi.
Actually, yeah, who's Yoshi?
I don't know. Like, I think I run this channel or something. Like, I play puzzle games. You know that, don't you?
Sounds good.
I don't know how else you found my channel. If you found this randomly out of nowhere, I welcome you. Yes, I am a puzzle game
I
player.
did I
mainly.
had just chatted last week.
There were a couple random. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm talking to VOD people again. I'm thinking VOD people because I think the only people who will see this are people who that don't know me are going to be VOD people. But if people come across this from the category, you know what? Cool. Welcome as well. I love you all. There you go.
Alright, so where did we want to start? Something like fairly light and quick, or
Yeah, let's go for something quick first. Light, quick,
Something cool.
pleasant.
alright. So
Get into the deep stuff later.
something like I've got a funny kind of story for, I guess. is
Okay.
Weirdest compliment you've ever gotten, like little story around. Like legal code, I guess. Tell us, weirdest compliment?
Oh wait, hold on, say that again.
What's the
Weirdest
weirdest
compliment.
you've ever got, and like little bit of
Weirdest
story behind it?
compliment. Oh my god. Think about this actually.
Right? How? This is not something I
like
can
have a
recall off the top of my
solid
head.
answer for this.
This is so interesting. This is a really good one. I'm trying to think as well.
Do you guys get complimented so much that you like don't remember all the compliments you've ever received?
It could just be that people have very normal compliments. What kind of things are they
exactly, they have
saying to me?
normal
Oh, what are they gonna say to me? Oh, thanks. You have a nice fan. Hi. Your hair looks very angular today.
Hi, I like how you have the ability to make eggs.
That'd be good.
That's how
To
you
be fair,
compliment a girl. That's actually how you compliment
no, that's
a
how
girl.
we
Yo,
compliment Xyrnq.
Xyrnq.
Yeah.
Does he make eggs?
Yeah, his
The
ramen and
eggs
his
in the ramen.
eggs. Of course.
Everyone loves them except for Reason, because Reason's only got the egg. because
Ah,
she loves
that's not a weird compliment though.
egg. No,
That's
I have
unfortunate.
an actual answer.
You can go first then, I suppose.
Alright,
First.
so when I used to go to uni, I used to catch the bus every day because I didn't drive at the time.
Mhm.
As I was getting off the bus, like at a stop, this was like when my bladder problem was like massively bad.
Right.
I used to stop like halfway through the trip and get off and go to the supermarket to go to the toilet. And catch
Right.
the bus. as I was getting off the bus at that stop, a girl like tapped on my shoulder, and I turned around like thinking I would know someone. Like just thinking I missed them getting on the bus and whatever. And she's just like, "You have a nice face." That was it. And then I get off the bus, go to the toilet, because that's what I was gonna do. And then she's like walking to the toilet as well. I'm also a fairly fast walker, so I got there way before her. I was already coming out, so we crossed like paths.
Oh my goodness, that fast.
Like,
Jeez.
yeah, I am a pretty fast walker. It's also like a fair distance from the bus stop to the nearest bus. So yeah, we crossed paths. I was coming out, and she was like heading into the bathroom, and she's like, "Hey, it's the guy with the nice face." I was so weirded out. I had no idea what to say to her.
That is
Yep,
so
it's me.
strange. That is so
And
so
I never
bizarre.
saw her again. I think last week I had a bus story too, didn't I?
Was
I
it?
said about the, I don't know if it was on the Jessica Shetland stream or something else, but I definitely talked about watching a girl draw on the bus.
Yeah, you're
Wait,
right.
yeah?
I do remember that. I don't remember where it was from. Huh. I don't know if I have an answer for this right now. That's. I'm sure there's something, but like off the top of my head,
I mean, if I'm reaching, I suppose I could say, this one time.
At Banker? Hang on, are you guys old enough to get that reference?
No.
Nope. Alright, cool, carry on.
I'm scared now. No, there was this one time where I was. Actually, yeah, this is another bus story. It's crazy.
Nice.
I was on the bus. Why was I on the bus Friday? I was on the bus Friday morning to go to ensemble,
Okay.
and the bus driver saw my guitar, and like he looked at me, and then he said that I looked like what's his name, John Lennon or something, and then that was cool, and I was like, okay. And I went on the. I was like, all right, that's thanks, sir.
Hang on, you call your bus driver sir?
I mean, isn't that? Is that?
I don't think I ever called him sir.
I just never refer to him by name or anything. I'm just like, thank you.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
it's
think
kind of
later
half
or
and half.
think
It
later.
depends if I'm in a hurry or feeling charitable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But when they directly compliment me, it's like it's kind of a bit rude.
Well, yes, you'd have to say
Yeah.
thank you.
And I'm in school uniform, and that's all the school cares about, their image.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
But yeah, I guess that's my quote-unquote weird compliment.
No, that's a good one. That's
That's
a
weird
pretty good one.
compliment,
Oh, if
Well,
only I
like-
had something.
My compliment could have been so much less weird, right? You have a nice face. Like, that was the word that Archie used.
Yeah, right.
Like, I think your face looks good. Not weird. Or
And then,
significantly less
and then the thing afterwards, it's just like, what?
weird. Yeah, yeah.
It's so weird. Yeah, that's just bizarre.
So, no weird compliment for you, no Yoshi. Or your compliments are
I'll,
normal.
I'll have to think about it, like, more, but, like, off the top of my head, I do not think I've gotten anything particularly strange just yet.
Yep, nope, that's fair.
Maybe.
What do we go with next?
Hmm.
Let's go something else reasonably light, although we could end up possibly passionate about.
Okay.
Okay.
So, CTWC is on it. Well, was on this week. I don't know who won yet. I'm halfway through the final. I'm not going to spoil anything. I don't want spoilers either.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm close to an expert in Tetris if I'm not an expert in Tetris.
Huh.
I feel like I know more than most people know about Tetris.
Right.
Listening to the commentary is hard. Like, they
Ooh.
very clearly don't know what they're talking about in like half the situation.
Yes.
I
So
see.
I guess I don't really have a question written down, it's more of a statement. Listening to other people talk about activities you're an expert in, or reading articles about things you're an expert in. Like reading Reddit about maths just sucks for me, because I know when they're wrong. Or watching numbers, I brought numbers up the TV show before,
Right.
and how that is painful to watch. Not painful in a... Yeah, painful is the wrong word. It's like, I know that they're wrong.
Right.
How do you guys feel about watching activities or reading or... Sorry, watching people talk or listening to people talk or anything reading about activities that you know more about than the person who is talking to you about it.
That is very interesting. I think it's very
I-
context sensitive.
Yeah. Because I can definitely understand on the CTWC part, because like sometimes I know it's not guideline, but what's a long bar?
Yeah, right.
Like
No,
oh,
but
it hurts.
that's standard vernacular for the NES scene.
Yeah, the
I'm
NES scene have
thinking,
their own like terminology now.
yeah, I'm thinking more
Um,
how they don't understand the stacking principles and things like
Yeah,
that.
stacking. I was going to say that, like, they don't understand the way.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone watched TGM, for example, it's the same thing where they don't know, like, you're
Yeah.
meant to be pyramiding and, like, what
Yeah,
moves
yeah.
you can. Like, knowing what moves you can and can't perform is so important when you're commentating these things because you know,
Yeah,
like, the flow of the game, right? And then you
Yeah.
can, like, lead the audience that way. So I think it can make it. Yes, it can be tough to watch in many situations. On the flip side, though, if they're the sort of thing that they're attentive to chat or something, for example, there can be some pretty funny moments. I
They can.
remember the DT cannon was called a washing machine at some point because they didn't know what it was called, and the chat was like, "Oh, that's a washing machine," and they called it a washing machine for the rest of the tournament. It was beautiful. So
Oh
in some
my
cases
God.
it can it can work out favorably, but in general,
Yep.
yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said about people who are inexperienced. It's not their fault, but like,
Wait.
yes, it is kind
No.
of annoying.
Yoshi,
Yeah.
I think you can relate to this. You can relate to this 100%, 100%.
What is it?
So if we're
Uh-oh.
if we're on the topic of people commentating on things they don't know a lot about, and you pretty sure you know a lot more about it than you do. When people say you should have put that there, come on. Who are you? Who do you think you are?
Are you the pro player?
So there's two different
Are you
levels.
the
of
one
that.
playing?
There's the level where the person clearly doesn't know what they're talking about, but then there's the level
Yeah.
like Yoshi and I last week when we were analyzing your games and Aiden's games, where we disagreed on
Yeah.
piece lists, even though we're
No, that
both
one's
relatively
like actually legit.
Yeah,
It's more in the sense of like they don't know what they're going on about. And
good.
they're
How
just-
do you determine a difference?
Well, I'm gonna call on my old buddy, old pal, Tetris.com. They see you playing, and they see, oh my god, you have the thing on the right where you can put the little long thing into it.
The long bar.
4 lines.
No, they don't
So
even call
why
it the
did you
long
put
bar.
it all the way to the left?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like if you're genuinely trying to help them, and it's like, I suppose it's a sort of thing of skill and like you're being annoying about it or not.
Whether it's constructive or it's just being annoying for the sake of just being annoying,
Yeah.
and like trying to show that you're better than them. I think
Yeah.
the tone that gets carried across is very
Yeah,
important.
it is the tone. It's like you should have put that there. It's like, are you better? Are you implying that like you know more?
So
Right.
just to
It-
clarify quickly, when I'm commentating your Tetris games, I definitely know more than you.
Yeah, no, that's no. I'm not trying to.
No, I'm
jab
joking.
at you
I'm joking.
because
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
God, I don't. You worried me for a second. I thought I was like.
But then
oh,
after this, Ten
is
is
he
like, no,
taking this to
never
heart?"
watch.
No, I'm not taking it to
I
heart.
never
like,
said any of that, Xernix. I hate you.
Look at you grow.
Character development, we love to see it.
It's same kind of thing happens with bowling. Like, there's a few people who average like 150 who think they know everything, and they're kind of garbage.
It's the whole like the in
Starting
between
figure.
thing. Yeah, that's the one. I was gonna say it applies to commentary too because when people are in that middle point and they're commentating, it's kind of brutal sometimes. Because yes, they're giving some good info sometimes, but then there's some stuff you're like, you know what you're talking about, but not enough. So like you
Yeah,
don't give
yeah.
correct insight afterwards.
Yeah.
It's yeah, no. It's unfortunate.
It is.
It is
But
unfortunate.
it's also really hard to get people who are both good at commentary in terms of logo in and knowledge.
Yes, that's right. Having the balance, and that's usually why they have like two commentators, right? They
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that's why you have like the hype man and
Yeah.
the knowledge man.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Like, I think Dota has developed a very good balance with this.
Hmm.
That an analyst commentator talks for 30 seconds after some big play, but the hype man is generally the one talking.
Right, right. No, that's a good way to balance it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sometimes they just have a conversation about garbage, especially if the game's slow.
Oh yeah,
Some-
no, and that's a really good
yeah.
skill to have too, like just to be entertaining.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that half the reason why they're there? Because if you're not there to like, if you're there to watch the video, like watch the gameplay, and then actually no, it's sort of more like the extra flavor. Because
Yeah.
it's kind of really boring just sitting there and watching two people playing Tetris and there's just a music. You don't know. Oh, that's right. It's for the casuals.
It's the
for
casual
it's for the
appeal,
people that
right?
don't know.
Because they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on, right? Yeah.
For people who
Yeah.
really don't know that much about Tetris, CTWC commentary is probably really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, people love it. They gobble it
Oh,
up.
Tenor the mascot. Can I be the mascot?
The
You are the
mascot. Right? He's the
Yes.
mascot man, of course.
I'm the hype man.
Really ancient stuff.
Just quickly through chat, Hembota from 13 minutes ago. He was going on about Tanner being bad at history, nice, that's nice. And then he said, oh, but good is okay too. Alternative history, the world was made in 7 days, this explained 2,000 words. I get insulted a lot, can I say the weirdest insult too? Well, you're free to give any opinions that you have in chat as well.
That is how I met
Met
your
your
mother.
mother
Oh
in
my
wrong
God.
series. A
That was
Tetris
about the
culture,
bus.
man. Washing machines is clearly
Yoshi's a
superior to
hypebeast.
DT
Am
canon.
I-
Yep.
Am I just the mascot?
Line piece. Maybe you are, Tenor. 200 points
I'm
for
the line
zillion damage on Tenor was critical, right? Some color commentary. Yeah, that's idea, Nagelfar. Which is the hype man of his stream. This stream for this one?
Yeah, you're the hype man for the talking stream.
You think so? How?
His Xyrnq brings the knowledge.
I
and
thought
I'm just
Tenor's more
there.
hype. I
I'm
wonder.
so hype.
Right? Tenor's always going out about beating up his students. And wonderful, fun topics.
History.
Pupineer's commentary is A+. He's so good. He's such a cool guy. Tenor the Mask. Yeah, right? Hype beast. Alright, cool. Caught up with chat.
So, thinking on the same kind of line, I used to read a lot of popular math books as a teenager.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
So like books written to the layperson. I wonder what would happen if I like went back and read those now. Like I have good memories of reading those books, but that was before I was particularly good at math.
And you get more critical as well because you're like
Yeah.
more knowledgeable. You like
I wonder if
you
I'm
know
just feeling
something should
good
be.
at
I wonder.
Remember how I joked last maybe about reading a book out loud in the street?
Thinking.
But yeah, I'm now wondering if I would enjoy those books. I should be able to read them fairly quickly as well. I'm currently
And
reading those
Bojo
books
is
for like
actually-
1,000 page.
Oh wait, I'm
I
sorry.
suppose it depends on the style of the book. If it's made to inform,
If it's
then
made for what?
it's if it's made to inform,
Right.
then it would be
I
different
think it's
than.
made to inform on the history rather than the maths.
Ah, okay.
With like brief touches in the maths. That's what basically every popular maths book is.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Like messed up. Like Stephen Hawking's The Brief History of Time. I think has one equation in it. That's the
Right.
Are we done speaking and talking about listening to and reading about people?
Hambota? Wait.
I think that's our thoughts. Yeah.
I think, yeah, no, that's our thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
Tanner, were you saying something?
Tanner's the salesman for
Sorry,
Tetris.com.
I'm the salesman. I am the salesman. Tetris.com /play-Tetris. Boom.
You could probably just look up Tetris and it'll come up, right? Like
Yeah.
as like.
No, I'm
The
looking up
third
Tetris.
link.
It's gonna come up with a Wikipedia article.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Tetris
yeah,
is like players.
Tetris. Tetris. I need to play it on Tetris. It actually redirects to Tetris.com. That's how much I play it.
Alright, so next topic then. So we'll click on that
Yes.
one. Have we got any skills we accidentally developed? Like something we're reasonably good
Tetris.
that we didn't put any real conscious effort into developing the skill.
I
Oh.
When you say conscious effort, do you mean
So
like
Tetris is not going to be something for either of us because we've both put a lot of time and effort into it. But my example of this is probably initially like listening to people. I was fairly naturally gifted at listening to people and having people come talk to me.
Mhm.
And when I realized that, I've like actively tried to develop it. But at some point, I was
just doing it?
just doing it without really being consciously aware of what I was doing that appealed to people.
That's really interesting. I wonder if it would be the same thing for me.
Yeah,
Like
you
that
mentioned
exact
last
same
week
thing.
that you were the person that people went to.
Yeah, so I think over time that's just... Yeah, no, I've never really... Well, I've thought about it now, but yeah. I think that skill I've picked up just over time for stuff. You know, it's gonna be kind of weird to say, but a lot of the puzzle games that I play now, like, I'm not really trying to get better at them, but like, I just... can you say that with any video game?
Yeah, you can play video
I
games very
mean-
casually, or you can play with a very I want to get better at this mindset.
The thing is, I think with, like, video games, I always end up... Like, for whatever reason, I always end up getting good at them. Which is like,
So
I
let's
don't
take
want to
SMB
sound...
right now. Are you trying to get good at SMB? Or
No.
are you just trying to finish it?
But no. Like, not trying
You're
to
not
get good at it,
trying
I'm
to
just trying to
finish
finish
it.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, clearly I'm just losing because
Like,
it's fun.
because you have to develop some kind of skill to get to the end of SMB.
Yes.
You're not going to be going a 455 speed run.
Oh, absolutely
Unless
not.
you put in a whole bunch of effort.
Right, so I think it depends on the level of skill that you're talking about at this point. Because the thing is, I could say the same thing, a similar thing with like, other platformers I've played, and I've just played them a few times, but then I got really good at it, like, I'd say, like, a lot bit higher than average, at least. Which is like...
Yeah.
And I'd say that with puzzle games too, like Dr. Mario or something, I haven't put that much time into it. But then, like, it's just kind of very easily developed for me. So I wonder if that's what you'd say is one of those things that fulfills your condition.
Yeah, I can see that. What else have I kind of accurately developed?
Right. Tenor, is there anything
I
for you?
think it, I'd like to say Pokemon.
Ooh.
Because that's just the sort of thing that you played as a kid and you kind of just like cruise along. And then like you just get really good at it.
Do
and I
you think
you're
you're really good at it? That's the thing. Like, at what point are you saying really good?
Oh yeah.
Because the thing is, knowing type matchups is like normal, right? And that makes you good at the game.
Type matchups. I actually can't remember.
Oh, okay.
That's just like experience. Like you know that you can guess them and you can get them right like 90% of the time.
Yes, that makes sense.
So I think my to address Hamburger in chat quickly, I think my definition for good would be if someone looks at you and is amazed at your skill.
Amazed at your
like-
skill. That's a good
Yeah.
word.
Amazed. Okay.
Maybe amazed is too strong of a word. Think you're much better than like they are.
Much better. So at that point, it would be that sort of thing where you're like above average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just showing some random person, they're like, oh, you're good at this. So, like, for example, we can show people Tetris, and people
Yes.
are like, oh god.
Like, that's
Tetris is
crazy.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like hugely high level player either.
Yeah, you don't need to be particularly good at Tetris to
No.
get that reaction.
Exactly.
Like, I have no doubt that I could get that reaction right now.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would
A
agree.
week and a half.
Except my family.
Yeah, well,
Well,
definitely
yeah,
not
but like in
family.
general.
Yeah, but like, pull some random guy off the street. Watch me play Tetris.com right now.
Yeah, that's a. I just show people Tetris.com and they're
Like,
amazed. It doesn't need to be
I've
anything
had-
special.
I've had students like tell their friends about me and then run into me and like, can you show that video? Like,
I
I've
like
had that
that.
happen.
Of what, your GM?
That's so wholesome.
Of some death, yeah. Not necessarily
Oh.
a GM because like the beginning of death is fast enough that people are already impressed. It's
Yes, that's right.
half-second locked
Yeah.
away. Being really slow.
Tenor, were you gonna mention? Oh yeah, so you were talking about Pokemon. So what do you think on that still?
Well,
Would you say
I
yes?
mean, I don't think so
You don't think
because
so?
of Xerx's like redefinition.
Yeah,
It
that
just
makes sense.
doesn't And then I would say the same for Pikmin, but that's only around my family and my brother who actually plays the game.
Right. Oh, because it's hard to. The
Um,
thing is, it's not like something that you're in a big community with, right? So you can't really say how you stand
yeah,
against them. That's always an interesting thing, like the whole like.
especially these like single player games which don't
Yeah,
have a lot of multiplayer.
exactly. So unless you're speed running it, you don't know how good you truly are, really. Like
Yeah,
speedruns are probably the easiest way to define someone's skill in a video game.
and
Single
yeah,
player. It commonly is, not always, but yeah, a lot of the time it's just, oh, can you do it fast because you're good at
maybe
it?
oh I can't concentrate fucking badly. Um,
Yeah, don't do that.
That's the wrong people. Come on, Tenor.
Try to
I wouldn't say
diversify your gene pool.
I'm not sure. I am actually because I would say like if it was just something that people are amazed at, obviously Tetris and not Puyo actually, because nobody knows what Puyo is. You have to say Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine like 3 times and then show them what the game is.
Yeah, I think you could show someone Puyo
Yeah,
and get
because
them to understand the basics straight away.
the thing is, the casual
And
appeal
they'll
still
be
stands.
impressed.
That's why it's an
Yeah.
esport in Japan, right? You can just look at it and be like, wow, amazing, all the colors, look, the chain reactions, you have to plan ahead. Like, people get that, at least. Just like with basic stacking Tetris. I think that part is understood enough.
Yeah, to once again address Sandboda, I think our redefinition of video game skill was
It's
I
kind
don't
of
think-
tough to say.
speedrunning is a good measure in a lot of cases. I think it's a good measure for some cases.
That's why I corrected it. I was like, no, in some games you can just be really good at the combat, for example, but you don't have to be good at being fast. But a lot of the time, being fast does mean that you can, like, execute things really nicely. Like, you know how you should do things.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, for example, puzzle games. Like, if you can do stuff fast in a puzzle game, you're generally very good at it.
Yeah. Or even just puzzles. If you
Or
solve
puzzles, yeah.
game puzzles fairly quickly, or even just jigsaw puzzles fairly quickly.
Yeah.
That's a skill in itself.
Yes, 100%.
You can accidentally develop that skill.
That's right.
Um,
Oh, I know one. Writing small.
Interesting.
I've got, like, people have looked at people at uni, like my friends and stuff. They were just like, you write really small. I'm like, this is so normal for me. But it's because of all the maths I've
Send
done.
me a copy of a cheat sheet you've made where you have to handwrite it. Because I find this so interesting to the point that I almost scanned like 100 students' cheat sheets.
Really?
Yeah,
I was gonna say though,
used to
because
find handwriting analysis so much fun.
it feels like cheat sheets are. The main thing is that they are an outlier, right? From a data set of like the people.
Yeah,
The thing is, like, the thing with cheat sheets is that I scale my stuff to like how much I know I'm gonna write, because if I'm not gonna write much, I actually just make everything big because it makes me annoyed to bring in a cheat sheet. I'm like, if I'm gonna bring in a cheat sheet, I want to like make it look
I
like
bought
I've
in a
got a
blank
lot.
cheat sheet. It was in high school.
In high school, I just didn't have cheat sheets a lot of the time.
My teacher said I had to have a cheat sheet. So I bought in a
Yes.
blank
So
sheet.
you brought in a blank. Yeah, exactly. I would have done the same if I had to.
Cheat sheets.
Mm.
My friend was so cocky. Oh, actually, two of them. They were both so cocky on the maths exam that they didn't bring in any notes. Well,
Yep.
one of my friends did, but it was literally a page covered with 3 words. It just works. All over. Front and back. Blue pen. He must have used up like 3. It was so cool. It's just like, you spend so much effort doing that. Did you study? No, I was busy writing my notes. What's in your notes? It just works.
So goofy.
And then everyone failed. Because it was too hard.
Because then everyone failed. What a nice end to that story. It's like, oh, nice
Yeah.
happy ending. No, everyone failed. It's
With
close.
me freaking out about my notes and then figuring out that they said that everything in the year was going to be in the exam, and it was only like 2 subjects, like 2 topics. Linear equations and Pythag.
Nice.
trigonometry, whatever it is. It's just so annoying. But anyway.
But anyway, that is another topic.
So circling to a little advice from Yoshi.
Yeah.
When you're writing cheat sheets, I think you should write at least 2. So your first
Oh.
one, don't worry too much about the sizing or anything.
Oh,
write
get the
anything that
notes. Any
write
notes,
anything
right?
you think you need, and then
Polish it,
do a
right?
practice test. Yeah, do a practice test, and anything you need for that practice test, circle or whatever on the cheat sheet you've made.
But then the stuff you don't need, you potentially can scrap, right?
Yeah, you can potentially scrap, and then everything you have used, you didn't know, like you had to look up. So put that on your.
Put that on the other one because you're going to need it. Yeah. Right.
And
So.
then start trying to guess from the stuff that's left that you. Was it in the test at all? Put that stuff on,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then anything extra you had to look up from other notes.
Right. So draft cheat sheets, basically.
Yeah, draft cheat sheets.
That's really, really. That's so obvious. Oh my gosh, that's such good advice.
An hour of extra work.
Yeah. No, that's super good, and it'll help reinforce everything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. That's so good.
Because you have to basically test yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're not going to know what you know.
That's right.
You figure out what you still need to know.
Yeah.
And you have the confidence then going into your test that you have all your fallbacks. So
Genius.
I've got like 10 years experience doing this. Yeah.
Makes sense. Also, yeah.
So I guess I've actually developed skills of knowing how to write cheat sheets.
I was gonna say, like, that also ended up happening. Very nice. Very useful.
Is there something else? I feel like I had something in mind.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, I feel like you were gonna say something.
There are definitely a few things that, like, you could definitely point out for this, I'm sure. Just quickly in the meantime, yeah, Naglfar, that's why we were specifically referring to, like, a single player game skill, in that case, because Tenor, I think, brought it up, so that's that.
Yeah.
Have the same, everybody says I write so ugly, but it's just my normal skill. Yeah, like, but handwriting's just something that, like, you train based on, like, feedback, right? Like, if you have a handwriting class, for example, then yes, you're gonna get judged on it, and then you're gonna adapt accordingly, right? But if no one ever tells you, then, like, you're just gonna write it for yourself, and you probably won't care that much. And unless it's a problem for the teacher, and they say, oh, sorry, can you rewrite this? You're never going to develop that, really. Which I think is actually rather interesting, because, like, you can have someone that's, like, not good at handwriting, but, like, it's not their fault, it's just they never got the feedback for it, so they never felt like they had to improve at it. So it's like, yeah, because they can read it.
Do you handwrite much anymore?
Yes, I do, every day. For my Japanese practice, mainly.
Wait,
Do you handwrite in English at all?
Yes, because I write English with the Japanese.
Okay, fair enough.
But,
my handwriting has deteriorated since finishing.
That makes sense,
Like,
though, yeah.
basically non-existent.
Yeah, because a lot of
Or
people don't need it in their
holidays.
everyday life. Oh, every
what is
holidays?
it? Summer holidays.
Mhm.
Because for like a straight 6 weeks, I'm not writing at all. Like handwriting, and then I come back, and it's always the first week is just pain.
Goofy
and then
handwriting,
get
right?
right back into it.
Yeah.
And also, is your capture okay?
I'm seeing everything fine.
Oh, it's
What?
because I paused it, right? Yeah. Earlier, I paused
Okay.
it. Yeah, if you
I
don't
was
have the sound
scared.
on,
I
then
was
it's...
like, wait a minute. Is
Yeah,
he like
whoops.
meant to be frozen?
Yeah, I was checking chat quickly, so I was like, oh.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. That's important. Tanner, thank you for keeping an eye on that. Level I remember a lot from Super Mario 35. Nice. There are glitches or mechanics that make the run fast and skip parts that require skill you wouldn't require. That's the thing. Like, that's why I was saying, like, okay, if there are big skips and stuff, that's speedrun specific. But again, general stuff like combat. If you get good at combat, then like you get fast at it as well, a lot of the time. So yeah, that's. It depends. It depends. It's very situational. Hello, Kedek. Multiplayer is different. Yeah, that's right. Cinder, welcome. Not bad at if I don't know how to chain how I can do quick stuff somewhat decently. Depends. Sometimes that's a yes. Yeah, there you go, Himbo. Himbo answering your question. And again, there's people like Tetris players who get really good at defense but they don't have high PPS. They don't need to be able to stack fast. They're just smart, right? Like, you don't necessarily have to do the thing that, like, people consider as the main important thing to be good. For example, in Tetris being fast. It's not necessarily what will bring you to the top.
Were you done chat?
Oh, yes, I should probably mention.
Yeah. So, Boo also said, if you finish Mario Bros, then you can play Puyo in the background.
Maybe if we play like party or something that just doesn't use my brain. So that if I
that's
play like
good.
if I play like 2 or something, I'm gonna use my brain, and that's not good.
So, going back to the handwriting after a long break, I've got written down, going back to things we are good at and are not good at. So, my example of this is Guitar Hero. I used to be quite good at Guitar Hero as a teenager, but then I had a few years off when I got to uni because I just stopped playing.
Right.
And then I went back to it. That's something. Someone put a guitar in my hand, and I played some Guitar Hero. And I just sucked.
Right.
Like I was just missing notes all over the place. There wasn't a rhythm to my play anymore. It didn't feel natural. Because I was fresh in my head.
Yeah.
So do you guys have anything similar to that?
Basically anything that's just accumulated rust, really.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
And
I
how do you guys?
remember-
Oh.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, my sibling's watching a video that has a smoke detector sound playing.
Okay.
Right.
And I
Fair.
freaked. Can I put some money in a minute?
Xenix?
Yeah, Xenix, go. Wait, he already went.
No, he was saying something about how do you...
Yeah, how do you guys generally feel about this? Because the first time I noticed it was with Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
I felt so depressed.
Right.
Like, just for a few days, I was like, oh,
I've gotten so
good
bad at
this
it, right?
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You lose the skill.
Like, it used to be a huge part of my identity through high school.
Right.
And, like, early uni.
So essentially you've lost the part of yourself.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Essentially, yeah. Huh.
And, like, I think I'd experience the same thing if I stopped playing Tetris.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you've committed so much to it.
Yeah,
So, like, if you
Spent
go
the
away
last
from
6
it.
years playing and play almost every single day.
Yeah, if you stop
like-
that.
It's rare for me to miss it.
Yeah. And even then, like, the next day you probably wouldn't have much trouble when you pick it back up, right?
Yeah, but you can still, like, feel the difference.
Yes, absolutely. But it like, again, on the topic, it doesn't affect you in that same way. You're just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll get back into it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, it's weird for me, because, again, I hate, like, having to be exceptional.
Well, you take long breaks. You
The
take
thing
long
is,
breaks
I
to
do
keep
that,
it.
and generally, like, just in general, I don't rust very much. Like, I get into Puyo or anything, at TGM, again, it takes me like a week and I'm back into it. Like, if
Yeah.
even, it could be just a day or two,
Yeah.
and I'm back into it. I think, video games at least, I definitely don't have that much trouble with. What else? Oh, for other skills though, I'd say, see, here's the thing, I don't know if it's the skill thing or if it's more just a memory thing, but like, for example, even just putting up the clothes, if I don't do that for a while, I just completely forget how to, like, most effectively place them, and it's like, yeah, it is annoying, but like, I think the interesting thing about that is it's because of the fact that there's some expectation behind it already, that I should be good at it, not just from myself, but from outside sources, right? You're like, oh, obviously you should be able to, like, just put the t-shirt like this and the pants like this. I'm like, oh, yeah, but I just forgot how exactly to do it, and it's like, yeah, it does become a bit of a struggle, and you sort of feel doubts about yourself as a result of it. It's not easy.
The thing is that I know Xanax will probably be a little mad, and it's not really like a good thing.
I like how
but,
you have to preface
when
that sometimes. It's like Xernix will do this if I say this.
So when I cook 2-minute noodles, right?
Oh no. I was prepared for like so much stuff to do with Tetris.com. I wasn't expecting to do it.
No, I had 2-minute noodles like a week ago, right? and I hadn't had any in like a month, and I was like, I need to have some more.
I need to teach
So I
you to make,
cooked
like,
them,
this.
and I cooked them for too long, and they got really overcooked. I was like,
I did the same, how long ago was it? Like a month ago? I did the same thing, Tanner. Don't worry. No, I did the same thing. I had
no,
them.
and then it happens the complete opposite with my little frozen pizzas. I cook them, and I have them like every other day. I cook them. There is, I kid you not, a 30-second window where they are neither burnt to a crisp or frozen. And you have to, you can't have a timer on because it doesn't work. Like, it does not cook if there's a timer on. You have to, like, guess. And
Guessing is
I
hard.
can't guess. Guessing is not good. I don't like it.
Oh, quickly on that. People who can cook by eye, is it? Like, I don't know, what's the word for it again?
Finish your sentence. I'll tell you what the phrase is for.
It's just like people who can observe and estimate and be like, okay, you cook this and it will work, instead of having to follow recipes for like most stuff. Like, like being able to just see, oh, it's reached a certain color of brown, it's perfect now,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like
by
you're
eye, by feel, by
stirring,
touch.
yeah,
Like,
that sort of thing. I'm
This
like,
is how much a tablespoon is.
yeah,
You don't
like
even
that sort
have
of thing
to
as
say
well,
this.
and like a lot of the time it's applied to cooking, in general, because
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big thing that I've
You
seen
can just
before,
apply things out
and it
of
just
it.
amazes me.
Salt.
Ugh, it's crazy. I don't get how people do any of this.
What's
So
next?
you're not that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, no, I'm that kind of person for something.
Oh.
I'll talk more about cooking if you guys want.
Okay.
But going back to the skills I've accidentally developed,
Yes.
I'm quite good at guessing how long has passed when cooking. Like, I still set timers, but I'm normally like spot on when I stand up to like go do something.
That's crazy good.
Mm.
Oh, on estimations, estimation of
Ooh.
time. So, is it just cooking in general, or is it in general now you're good at estimating time?
I think I'm fairly good at estimating time in general.
Tanner?
Because I've also like supervised exams and stuff for years now.
Yep. So you have to have gotten good at. Oh, that's interesting though. Doing something like that has gotten you to the point where you can just, where you accidentally develop the skill to estimate
Yeah.
time. There you go.
I guess.
Crazy.
I guess that happens when I'm like sort of late to school, and you have to kind of guess if I walk this fast. How long
Yes.
is it going to take me? Am I going to be late?
But I wonder if there's a difference there because there's another dimension to it, right? So it's different from like sitting there and just being like, oh, it's done, rather than walking and feeling time pass. You know, like when you're doing something, you can feel the time pass a bit more actively. It's sort of weird.
Ooh.
It's sort of weird.
Would that be the same as like, kind of like guessing, how long your phone's going to survive? Because
Yeah, that's probably a better example than walking because it's a much less visceral thing.
yeah,
No, I'd say so.
It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
you don't know exactly how long it's going to take, and the predictions your phone gives you is always wrong.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
always. They're never like configured, whatever the word is, correctly.
Yeah, like it makes no sense.
It's so sad.
But yeah,
No, it's really interesting. What about lengths?
I'm okay at like smallish lengths because
Hmm.
my father's a carpenter. I've been around wood for a while,
There you go, another one.
but I think I'm far better at guessing in imperial units than metric.
And then is that because that's what you use?
That's what he
in-
used to like, yeah,
Right,
measure in. And
exactly.
that's what I learned as a kid.
Right.
So, like, a few inches, I can like nail a few inches.
Mhm.
But
I mean, the only reason I'm really good at figuring out how long a foot or like 30 centimeters is because my forearm is around about the size, around about 30 centimeters.
Wow, lucky you have your own measuring tool. What a
Yeah, I have my
flex.
own. I should get a tattoo. where
Can't
it's
believe you accidentally developed the skill to
I wonder
I
if your
accidentally
foot
developed
is
my
roughly a foot.
my body accidentally developed. Sorry, the real world. Yeah.
I like it.
I think the worst
I'll
measurement
get
is
the
hands.
permanent marker out.
Is what?
Hands for measuring horses' heights.
Yeah, that's... What are you gonna do with
Although
that?
chains and leaks for things related to acres, I think. I forget.
I don't even
Uh,
know.
Yeah, I didn't know until a couple of weeks ago. Then I was reading Wikipedia pages trying to figure out what the definition of an acre was.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just Wikipedia rabbit hole.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to briefly talk about what I can guess and what I don't guess with cooking? Or?
Go for it.
So,
Yeah.
let's say I'm making ramen. There's
Mhm.
a few things to go with ramen. There's atare, which is really salty,
Mm.
and adds the salt to your broth in the end.
Right.
Then you have your broth. You have your noodles themselves.
Yeah.
Then you have some kind of protein topping, like a meat or a tofu or something like that.
Yep.
And then an egg. The egg sits in. No, let's go with the beginning of the egg. The egg I boil for 6.5 minutes,
Okay.
and then I shock it for 6.5 minutes in ice water.
Yep.
So I very precisely time that. If you go over that, you'll end up with a egg yolk that's too solid to cure properly.
Yeah.
And if you go under that, the whites won't be set enough.
So is that because
At
just
least
because of the
the-
requirement itself?
That's because of the requirement itself.
Yeah.
Want to be very precise.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably go 6 and go slightly longer in the curing process, and it'll harden the whites itself.
Mm-hmm.
But 6.5 has been the thing that I've just nailed down
Okay.
from like years of experiment.
That makes sense.
And then there's the curing process itself, which is just a mixture of water and something sugary and something salty. I used mirin for the sugary component,
Mm-hmm.
like the sweet component, and soy sauce for the salty component.
Right.
And that's why any picture you've seen of mine with an egg in it in the ramen has a round tinge to it. It's from the soy sauce. And then you just mix all those together.
Mhm.
And I have no idea what quantities I use. I just guess them, dip my finger and taste it. And if it tastes how I want it to taste. then
Oh, okay. So,
right.
so going by taste is definitely, like, if possible,
Yeah,
then that's probably...
for that thing, yeah.
Yes.
So I have a very precise thing for the eggs and a very imprecise thing. Something that feels right to me.
Interesting. Okay, that's
and then
very
that's it's
interesting.
there for roughly 3 days.
Yeah.
And that roughly is, again, very loose.
Hmm.
Like, it's probably tighter than what the measuring for the ingredients going into the mixture is,
Okay.
because it's over a longer time. I'm going to be within a few hours.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it's still a bit off.
Mhm.
And if I were to open a ramen restaurant, I'd be more precise with that step.
Yes, that makes sense.
So yeah, the egg has both a very precise and very imprecise element. My noodles themselves are very precise.
Mhm.
Depending on what kind of noodle I want, I will weigh out all my ingredients and add more or less water.
Mhm.
But we haven't read chat, so
Yeah, I'll get around to that, like, at the end of each segment, probably.
yeah. So the noodles are flour, water, salt, and for an alkaline, I use baked baking powder. It's
Mhm.
roughly an 11 on the pH scale. But yeah, I will potentially swap that out one day.
Right.
It's one of the things I want to look into more.
Interesting.
So I kind of guesstimate how much for the alkaline, how much baked baking powder to use.
Okay.
So normal baking powder has like an 8 and 8.5, I think, on the pH scale. And if you bake it, it does the chemical thing and changes it. And I forget what it actually its chemical name is, but it's a way more alkalinic thing.
Mm.
And that gives you a more stretchy noodle. Yeah, let's go with stretchy.
Hmm.
But yeah, I very precisely weigh the flour and the water,
Mhm.
and kind of freehand the salt and the baked baking powder.
Okay.
And the dough just feels right to me after I'm done.
Oh, interesting. So that's another feel thing.
Yeah, so I can tell when the dough is wrong if I've stuffed something up into flour or water or baked baking powder. The salt less so, because the salt mostly there to break down the gluten more.
Yep.
But yeah, if any of those 3 things are off, I can tell within 40 seconds of leaving.
Hmm.
Then the broth, I just kind of keep tasting it over the course of 14 to 16 hours and like cooking it for.
Yeah.
I just toss in as many bones as I can.
Mhm.
Any kind of extra meaty things off a pig that I can. So
Yeah.
if I'm making a pork chop,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, just any kind of pig related thing I can toss into some boiling water. Not even the water is a bit of a win.
Right.
Like the temperature's at. So yeah, toss everything in. And that goes for as long as I can basically.
Yeah.
And then the intensity of the flavor is by how much water you reduce it by over the duration of the cook and how much stuff you started with.
Right.
So over the course of the first 10 hours or so, I have no problem topping the water on.
Okay.
And then in the last 4 to 6 hours, I'll start tasting it more and more to see if I can afford to dilute it. So obviously you want to get as much broth out of bone as you can.
Yes.
But then you're risking diluting it too much and you can't taste the pork flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to match that balance.
And that just matters more by the end of it, because then you're making the final decision.
Because you can always evaporate more water off.
Yes. Yes.
Throughout the process, but if you add water near the end, it's gonna dilute it.
Dilute it, yeah.
Kind of find to evaporate it off. And 16 hours is about the longest I can do reasonably at my current place because I have to sleep.
Right.
And I don't really trust my parents.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas if I was doing it over a gas stove, I would have no problem leaving it overnight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What else was there? There's the pork belly itself, so making the chashu for it. I am fairly imprecise with all the things that go into the braising liquid for that. So standard things like carrot, onion, and celery for your mirepower flavor. Well, I definitely mispronounced that French.
It's okay, I don't think we have French people around, right?
Sure. Then
we're all French here.
Bit of leek as well. Then there's water, soy sauce, mirin, sake. Yeah, it's all just kind of taste it. Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I can put the meat in now. And then that goes for a reasonably precise time because you want it to be a very tender bit of meat.
Yeah.
But you also can't have it falling apart. You have to be able to still handle it. So I generally cook it for 2 hours and rotate it a quarter of, so 90 degrees, every 30 minutes.
Right.
And it's just on a very low simmer. Oh, going back to the broth as well, with the temperature. You either want it just below boiling, so like bubbles just forming on the surface and popping, but not vigorously at all.
Yeah.
That'll give you a fairly clear broth. Or you want to like roll and boil like you would for pasta, which will give you a very cloudy broth. And I suspect the more cloudy broth will end up more gelatinous as well.
That makes sense.
But I haven't really been able to test that because I haven't done a controlled experiment with it.
We shall see.
And have I missed anything else? The veggies I'm generally pretty whatever on. Whatever's there I'll use. It's very ad hoc.
Right.
Rather than something I sit down and think about in advance, unless I'm doing something like mushrooms where I will sit down in advance and think about it. Because then you've got a million mushrooms to choose from.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so some of it's very, this feels right, and some of it's very, this is going to be cooked for exactly 6.5 minutes. Sit in water for 6.5 minutes, and then I'm going to take it out, and it's going to like sit on the bench until I feel it.
Right. So it is only for the ones that are like have to be precise. So there's none of them that you have to be precise, but you have gotten the feel for.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
So like I can do salt and stuff for like the tare. That's just does this taste really salty? Yep.
Yeah,
probably got enough salt then. So the tare you typically do a 1:10 ratio with the broth, and you don't put any salt in the broth itself. All the salt flavor comes from the tare.
Right.
So it has to be really salty because it's really diluted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you add a lot of umami flavor to that tare as well. So a whole bunch of seaweeds and mushrooms, stuff like that, to get that savory flavor. So like steak and stuff I do by feel. Yes, if I'm cooking steak myself, I'll just poke it.
Yeah, right.
Chicken, stuff like that. Anything you deep fry, you basically have to do by feel.
Right.
So like sometimes I fry chicken and stuff like that. Potato. So there's a fairly long version of a baked potato you can do.
Okay.
So if you really boil the crap out of a potato before you bake it, you can get this really fluffy interior and really crunchy exterior. But I have no idea how long you have to boil it for. I just know what the exterior of the potato is going to behave like.
Oh, interesting.
And then you drain it for half an hour, then you freeze it for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Then you go from the freezer to a pan, chuck a whole bunch of oil over it, and cook it for an hour at 180, or roughly an hour at 180. And they're so good potato, but it's so involved. It's like 3 or 4 hours of work, at least, for some potatoes.
Right.
What else is there? I guess lasagna I kind of do that for too. Couple of carrots, couple of bits of celery, a
Right.
bit of extra onion compared to the carrots and celery. Same with the salt in the ragu. So the general thing for making pasta, hand making pasta, is 100 grams of flour for 1 egg.
Okay.
But eggs are way different weight, so you kind of have to fill the pasta and know if you need to add a little bit more or not.
Okay, so that's because of the ingredient itself that you have to just
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah, you could weigh out the egg, but I don't.
Huh.
I just feel the dough. And
Interesting.
typically, no matter what I do with that pasta dough, it's going to be way easier to work with than any ramen dough.
Right.
Ramen dough is really dry, whereas pasta dough is generally a good hydration to run on.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it sounds cool.
We're talking about food for the most part.
He's talking about
Fresh pasta.
feeling out,
Yeah, filling food.
yeah, knowing.
Cooking by feel.
Yes, rather than by measuring everything strictly and stuff.
So with weighing flour and stuff, you should always weigh it as well and not use a measuring cup.
Okay.
Despite so many recipes saying 1 cup of flour.
No, that's interesting.
Because the not the density, the packing density of flour is very variable. Double malt flour, double zero flour, I don't know how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Is a very fine grained flour used in a lot of pastas. So 1 cup of that is going to weigh way more than 1 cup of all-purpose flour.
Right, that
just
makes
because it's
sense.
way more density back.
Yeah.
Same with salt. So when someone says a pinch of salt in a video, and then they're dropping a pile of salt, well, what looks like to be a pile of salt, what they're actually doing is dropping a really coarse salt. And if you added the same by volume amount of salt as off table salt, it's going to be way too salty.
That makes sense. Huh.
So yeah, that pinch of salt is actually way less than what you think.
So considering what the density of the ingredients also extremely important.
The volume of the packing density of
The packing is yeah.
So if something's very voluptuous, then it will have a low packing density.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It mostly approximates us, not so certain.
Right.
Very good. I have a master's degree.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So this has turned into a cooking stream.
I'm sorry for not talking.
No, I've just been monologuing about ramen for the last 20 minutes.
It's okay, Tenor. We'll be able to experience it one day, and then it'll all make
I
sense.
go to home ec class. I cook spaghetti.
The end.
Do you make your own spaghetti? Because that's so much easier than well, it's slightly more involved, but it tastes so much better, and the cooking process
What's
is so
home
much
ec?
easier.
Home economics. It's you cook and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you don't.
My siblings won't go to bed. So,
Classic Tenor.
So have you ever made your own pasta, Yoshi?
No, I've never.
You should try to do it. I can teach you if you wish.
Maybe
How-
at
how-
some point.
It would take an hour. Yeah, we'll say an hour of your time. Oh, actually, you probably don't have a pasta machine, do you?
No.
We'll say it will take an hour and a half of your time.
Okay.
And the only things you'll need is a rolling pin, a bit of bench space, some kind of knife. You have some kind of knife. And
Doesn't have a knife.
some kind of cup. Hopefully a measuring cup.
Right,
Or
yeah.
a set of scales. A set of scales would be better, but we can eyeball a measuring cup.
Okay. Huh. Looks like we're gonna have to do it at some point.
Yep, I would be freaking for that.
Yeah, cool.
Well, Tenor. We can get Tenor away from 2 minute orders.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we can all do it together. Wonderful.
I'm 14. Do you really think I will be allowed in the kitchen at my own house?
Maybe.
Then I'm
Not
not allowed to
really.
get in my own house.
Also, my hand hurts.
Oh
That's not
no.
good.
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it does.
That's not good.
Oh, goodness.
So before we went on the tangent about me being able to cook ramen,
Yes.
the question was going back to things we are good at, but now not as good at.
Yes.
Did we finish that?
I was talking about how I personally don't get affected a lot of the time, except when it comes to, like, real skills. Tenor, did you answer the question?
What question?
Yeah, you go, Yoshi.
Getting good at something, then, like, rusting, and then what are your feelings about it, and,
Okay.
like, what was it, and whatnot.
I can't really remember if there's any specific, like, because it's happened to me. It has definitely happened to me.
But at the
I
moment,
remember
just
getting-
blanking.
Yeah, I'm just blanking on what I knew. I know that it really messed with me.
How so? How does it mess with you, man?
Because it was just like
Like
you put all
upsetting
this
or
time-
angry
yeah,
or
it
like
was,
what kind of feelings?
upsetting, and it's just like you put so much effort into this thing, and then you stop because of like unforeseen circumstances, and then you get back into it, and you just can't, and it's like, I used to be so good at this. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
It's not very gamer.
Yeah, I think that answers it then, right?
Cool. Did you want to go back and read through all of chat?
Yes, I was gonna say, I'm wondering how I...
You should just have the demo on and nothing else.
Well, you're
No.
gonna say
Chances
how you
vibe
deal
it.
with chat while
How I do chat, because I like having both components.
Hmm.
Segmented depends on the, like this can happen as well, where we're talking about, which doesn't, it's not an issue, but it's the whole, like, if there was any comment that only made sense in that context, then it's like a bit of a shame as well, but I don't want to interrupt, and we don't want to interrupt the whole, it's, I wonder. Bit of a mystery.
I think we talk about this off.
Okay. If anyone has
We'll
any
just talk about
suggestions, then throw them at me.
Yeah.
Is that why you say you can't rust in Puyo? I guess that's why I say so. Leather trousers, welcome. Cooking is hard? It is. It's true.
Cooking is very rewarding.
Looking at color, right? Interesting. How long until garbage will drop in Puyo?
5. Not anything. Just 5 anything. Yeah.
At some point, Yoshi highlighted a message, and not Yoshi, who highlighted a message. Nope, wrong message.
Was that about the finishing Mario Bros. And the Puyo?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes,
Boo
I
say
did
something
answer.
else about-
Was it that one?
Is it okay if I join the call after you've already started?
You can absolutely do so, unless Xyrnq
You're
says...
in the group chat,
Yes.
dude. What do you think? What do you think it's for?
Let's see here. Hi Bowser, welcome. Damien, hello, welcome. 5 bananas. Yeah, okay, I don't know if that was a context thing or if that was just like Hemboda messing with me because I was talking about things in context. It was a minute ago. It was a minute ago, it's fine. So I guess it wasn't a context thing.
Hambota, can I have
Oh no.
5 bananas, please? Speaking of, I'm not gonna let you get away with this one. I want your German waifu in my DMs by tonight, or else. You have been postponing it long enough.
With that, Xyrnq.
Is that a Xyrnq picking up the topic?
Yep.
Last Talky stream, we asked the question of when did me and Tenor join your community?
Right.
Oh yeah.
have an answer to that question?
I have an answer to that. It was when I was trying to get people for the auditions for a fan dub we're doing for a Puyo game. So I think he found me on Twitter then, which is really interesting. Like my
Wait,
assumption is
me?
that because you came in and you were like, oh no, it wasn't through Twitter. I remember now. I was streaming and then I had a message on stream where I was like re-recruiting people for the fan dub, and then you and Lily responded, and I don't remember who else, but
Mm.
but then
'Cause I remember.
you left a message when you
I
came into
remember.
Discord, and you're like, remind me about fan dub thing, and then I did.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's how I don't know, you must have been beforehand on the streams a little bit, but like we wouldn't have known each other
Oh,
very much. You just were around, right?
I was definitely, because I remember back, because I don't know how exactly I found. I think it was just on Twitch. I am 90% sure I was just really bored and on Twitch.
Right, and then was it like looking? Do you know what you found me by? Was it Splatoon? Was it Puyo? Probably Puyo, right?
I
But
think
then, if it's Puyo,
no,
then
it
like,
must have been Mystery Dungeon or something. Like
it was Mystery Dungeon. Yes, you were
it was
you were
Mystery
like
Dungeon, but I knew you from Puyo. Like
through where?
I knew that you played Puyo, and
Through
yeah.
who? Through who?
Oh,
I'm
did
always
I
curious
even
about
know
that too.
Malachi back then?
I was wondering if no, I don't think so. I was wondering if it was like S2 or something.
No, I must not have known Malachi. No.
Was it S2 maybe? Was it like YouTube recommendations or something?
Yes, I think because I was watching S2's live streams for a while.
So then it was probably that, right? You'd heard my name around
Yeah,
maybe.
it was recommended to me. I'm not sure if it was. It must not have been your GM because I would have been way more interested in the death game.
Yes, you would have
far
known
before
more about it.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it was because you lost your copy of Blue Rescue Team, right?
Yes. I lost my copy of Blue Rescue Team and I still can't find it.
You're the same person. This person I'm talking to
It's
right
so
now is the
sad.
guy who introduced himself as losing a copy of a game, of like the remake that I had of that version of the game, and it's very sad. And I'm just like, maybe we need to get Tenor the game for Christmas as a, like sort of a throwback, or maybe one day I'll do it. Tenor, I'll just do it out of nowhere. It's like,
Aw.
this is a good discussion to have. And again, Xyrnq, I want
I
to
would
like need to
cry.
like comb through some streams and find out with yours, because I'm really curious like when you ended up just joining.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember like
Yeah, when did you disappear?
I don't know. I remember talking years ago on Twitter.
Yes, we had done that.
I remember Rockland tweeting at you asking if you got Death GM when I got my Death GM. I was so embarrassed by that actually. I was like, no, don't bother him. Why are we bothering him?
Really?
Yeah. I feel like I bother everyone.
Aww.
Well, I used to. I don't think I do anymore.
Okay, nice.
Because like, I used to be really nervous about messaging NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so much better than me at everything.
Right. It's always that
I
gut
was like-
feeling.
Yeah, I was like, he's never gonna want to talk to a scrub like me.
I think a lot of people get
And now
that.
he does nothing but insult me.
That's the life.
He used to be really positive towards me. And yeah, now it's just insult after insult. I wonder where I get my positive to insult. Because I used to be positive to you, right?
But the thing is,
That was like
before
a
the
good 2 or 3 years.
influences, or because, right? I wonder now. Like, have you always been this sort of, had this sort of,
Jokey-ish personality.
yeah? I'm wondering, or
Yeah,
did you maybe? Okay,
Nah, I've always been.
I was wondering if it was picked up from MHL or something. At that point, it's sort of like, whoa.
With people I'm fairly close with. Like,
Right.
with people I know will be able to take it as a joke.
Right.
And won't be insulted by it.
That makes sense.
Except for me, I never take it as a joke.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm crying.
I know. It's like these
Lucky
all-
we are so close, says Ambrose. What about me? I thought we had something. Ambrose,
He even said not.
But I work for your company, of course I close.
You have to be.
I'm a loyal customer. I asked for food once.
Tenor, you're so close that he said, Nani, I won't slide into your DMs.
You can slide into my DMs anytime, alright? No, anytime. Even if I'm asleep, I will wake up. I don't even... I was reading it. I don't have to read everything aloud. My god.
I tend to.
Life is difficult.
Tenor, you should get at the temping bowling. You fit in well.
No, I have Wii Sports. Does that count? Bowling costs too much.
Bowling does fit.
The world must know. Okay, fine. I will read it. As for the nature of Buddha lies within every living being, so does the nature of waifu. To accept the waifu-ness is to accept life according to Buddhism. Okay. Okay, but can you please explain what like to accept the waifu-ness is the to accept life? Is
And
one of
Boda
your
is full of
teachings. I think
insights.
someone needs to teachings you English. Just kidding. You're
And-
so it's a riddle. It's like one of those Shakespeare plays.
And
where
Boda is
they're
so good at English though, honestly.
Hamboda is actually gamer at English. I'm not.
I would never have known his not
So
a
when we were
native
talking
speaker.
about like accidentally getting good at stuff, Hamboda said that he accidentally got good at English in this show.
Yeah.
And he
Huh.
typed English.
There you go.
And Hamboda got good at realizing who his best friend was when talking to me. Isn't that right?
Accidentally learned skill, huh?
Accidentally becomes my best friend. Isn't that right?
That's the spirit, Tanner. That's how you make friends.
Who's gonna say no?
Alright,
Stop crying.
Are we
Who am I
group
doing
chat?
as best?
yes, I was gonna say Xernex moment. Go, go, go.
So psychological warfare in versus games is what I've got written here.
Whoa.
So,
Psychological warfare.
yeah. So
Terror instinct.
this is something I added today.
Okay.
Oh.
And Jill and I were talking about poker and social deduction games in general.
Yeah.
So I compared poker to a social deduction game. And there's a little bit of psychological warfare in games like Secret Hitler. You're trying to manipulate the other person, well, the other team, basically.
Is this
into
like
believing-
Among Us?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, social deduction games like
basically
Among
Among
Us.
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to manipulate other people into believing something that is not true.
Yeah.
So poker, you're trying to make them believe that you have either a weaker or stronger hand than what you have.
Yes.
Secret Hitler, you're trying to convince them you're not Hitler
Mm-hmm.
or not fascist. But then there's other things like in Tempin Bowling, you are trying to get into your opponent's head in some way to make them bowl worse than what they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy I used to bowl against in a league, and he was much better than me.
Okay.
Like he'd been bowling for years. He averaged about 30 pins higher than what I could do. Like I wasn't bad at the time. I'm definitely better now, but I wasn't bad at the time either. I think I
Okay.
was averaging 180 or so. He was
Mhm.
just well into the 200s.
Right.
But I never lost to him because I had a much better mental game. But like not in a mean way or anything. I just knew what would make him stop up and
Right.
would play on that. Like if he had the lead on me, I would always say something to him about how he's winning. In the same way that Tenor stuffs up if I tell him how good his stack is.
The metagame.
Yeah.
Yeah, they meta.
Yeah, so like there was a psychological game as well as the physical game of bowling between
Yeah.
me and him.
Yes.
And I had a far stronger mental strength than what he did
Yeah.
in that regard. So I would very often come out on top,
Oh.
despite being the worst bowler.
Yes. That's right.
So I imagine there's something similar in Puyo, especially if you're playing the same people over and over and over. and roughly you'll know how
Huge
you
deal with Bureau, because a lot of the decisions you make are, I suppose you could say the same with like a game like chess, where it's not just the like for example with a game like TGM, you say, oh, your stack is good, right? That is just a purely mental thing. But then there's also like the mental aspect within games like Puyo and chess, where it's also predicting the other player's moves. I suppose alongside like if they make this move and they stuff up in this way, then how do I play in such a way? So I think one big thing is if you're playing aggressive in game, it can get into their head as well, where they're like, oh, you're overconfident, or you're not. Well, to yourself you're being overconfident, but like to the other player you're just you're playing like this because you're so confident in your ability, and they end up
Yeah,
messing
yeah,
up
yeah.
because of it. Or you set off like one huge chain, like just one. Like you take a game and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to attack the opponent. You know why? Because I'm going to flex on them with a big chain. Like then they're just like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's really scary now. And I think
Yeah.
that is a huge deal in Puyo, definitely.
So do you often play against the same person, or is the Puyo pool still big enough that you get matched against a wide variety of people?
When it
Like,
comes to ranked play, it's too random. But as for longer sets, I'd say not even between different sets, but within the same set, you can have like multiple different like mind games happening at once. Like for the first like 5 games, you're warming up, and then you're doing this and that, and then like your mid game sort of thing, and then the approach to the end, and then the end game. Because when you're approaching the end, you could be like, or the other player could be way in the lead, but then like you catch up in the last like 5 points, and then you have like the final stretch. Um, and I'd say like just even there, the flow of the game is dictated by the sort of psychological aspects that you're like throwing in. And then yes, between different games with the same people, you're familiar with people's skills, so you know how to throw them off, or potentially you know how to throw them off, and that they might know how to do the same for you. So I'd say yes, there's a
I think
strong
that's
mental aspect.
sorry, yeah.
Mm.
I think that's when social deduction games get really interesting, when you play with the same group of people
Oh,
over
it's
and over and
so
over.
interesting. The people like Toast, right? And he's played like what?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got like
yeah.
80 episodes now, or whatever. It's insane, like how he's still going strong with it. Like you
Yeah.
would think, oh, after a while, people would just catch on to every trick. No, he's smart. The people he's
Yeah.
playing with are smart. They all have ways to just like I don't know. It's mind blowing to me. I don't understand how you can do it.
Yeah. Like I have I play Secret Hitler with the same group of people
Yeah.
all the time.
So it's
Like
the
the
same
same
deal,
core
right?
group. Occasionally there's like one or two other people, but yeah, there's always the same core group of people.
Mhm.
I have like a 70 or 80% win rate as Hitler.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy how consistent I am winning those Hitler,
Yeah, that's insane.
just because of my ability to be convincing liberal,
Right.
or even convincing not Hitler, because you can win by being elected to chancellor as Hitler.
Oh, okay. Right.
So as long as I can be convincing not Hitler
Mhm.
and just pretend I'm another fascist, like yes, I'm fascist, but I'm not Hitler. Yada yada yada.
Mm.
Something along those lines, and then get elected, and then easy win. I think I've only won like that once.
Right.
I'm generally better at convincing other people that Hitler isn't Hitler when I'm not Hitler.
Right. Okay.
So I'm playing on the fascist side
Yeah. Yeah.
and not Hitler, and convincing the rest of the group that the person who is Hitler isn't Hitler.
Right.
Convincing them that they're safe.
Okay.
I'm very confident in their thing.
Mm.
So to quickly address I can't imagine psychologically attacking a person though. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. No,
I think it is very contextual on how you're doing it in the game and how you're doing it out of the game.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
In
I
the
don't
game,
think-
I think it's totally fair game to psychologically play into the game, into the metagame.
Yes.
But out of the game, I don't want to manipulate.
Oh, certainly no. You never want to. Like that's just
Not like in a. Like I want to manipulate people in a way that they end up being a better version of themselves. So like
yes.
I will give
Yes.
Tenor advice about Tetris, for example, in some way that's a manipulation of
Advice.
Tenor. But
It
at the
is.
same
It
time,
is.
I don't think that is a negative manipulation.
No. No. They. I wonder if there must be a better. I guess that's when you say advice, right?
mean,
Rather than you
yeah,
calling it manipulation.
yeah,
But
yeah.
technically, it's the positive form of
Yeah, yeah.
manipulation is
Yeah.
like highlighting these things and making people aware of them. It's like the opposite
feels like,
metagame where you're trying to help someone.
Yeah,
What's it called? It feels like negative manipulation a lot of the time. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Like teachers manipulate all the time,
Yeah.
and that is generally looked as a positive thing.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
My whole life's just manipulated people.
No wonder you're so good at this. Another skill.
Oh, going back to that. I've been told that I'm very good at getting weird information out of people. Specifically regarding sexual stuff.
Really?
Yes.
How fascinating.
Okay.
Because I'm generally a fairly open person. I generally just.
Oh, so you get the
don't
same
care.
thing out of it. I wonder if that's the same thing with me then. Just in general, like I just get people to talk because they're well. That's the thing, right? You open up if the other person
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really open and like friendly. So it's
Like yeah.
Mental
For
note to not talk to Xenix in private.
like yeah, you share something, you build a bit of trust. They share something back.
yeah, no, that's great.
And if you pay attention to them, like really pay attention to someone talking, then they're happy to keep talking
Yes.
because you don't often end up with people who genuinely listen to you. People generally seem to want to say their own thing,
Yes, that makes
and
sense.
it's letting you talk rather than listening to you talk.
Right, because the difference is then they're showing interest in what you're doing rather than just doing it for the sake of, like, then having your way. Very
No, I'm
interesting.
sorry, I was freaking chat, not listening. Besides saying that listening is really important 2 seconds ago.
Whoops. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's the whole like building a relationship in that sense. You're just building the trust with that person to be able to
Yeah,
talk to them about anything.
yeah.
That's what building a good relationship's all about.
Yep. I suspect psychologists are exceptionally good at this,
Hmm.
and really good teachers are exceptionally good at it.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Sorry, I should go back and add to qualify a really good psychologist as well.
Yeah, if we're gonna reach out, hold on, let me catch up then. Just quickly.
Oh, I just read Nigel to make sure, because that was the one I was addressing earlier about the psychologically attacking a person.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because it seemed, yeah, kind of random. The psychological, so trash talk before Puyo games, of course. And then you don't play the Puyo game because you psych them out even more. Boda
Like,
is so
even
smart.
in really physical sports like boxing and MMA and stuff, there's a trash talk aspect. There's a psychological aspect.
Yes, there is.
Like it's
built in at that point.
Yeah, it's a very agreed upon thing.
Yes, that's right.
Any kind of competitive thing that psychological warfare happens.
Yes, that's right.
Especially at high levels. Maybe not at like under 6 soccer, but at high levels of basically anything there's a psychological aspect to it.
You psych out the other players. It's just a natural thing in competition. As a human, you want to like gain any advantage you can, and because of the fact that we've developed in such a way that like psychological things mean so much to us, we can then use that to our advantage, and you know, do it for a good reason.
Use your powers.
Yes, exactly. Yo, Bruno, welcome. Let's see. What if Tenor would be manipulated semi-food if I tell him my German waifu? Well, Tenor?
Yes. It's not manipulation if I can consent, right? So technically no, but I still send you food.
Interesting take. Are you guys in high school? Tenor's still in high school. Longest con friendship.
I'm what?
You're little
A
Bubby.
number of years?
Little Bubby.
I'm in year 10 next year. I get to wear a different shirt.
Shh. Oh, that's exciting. Year 10 you get a different shirt.
Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
get my other shirt to year 11.
No, mine was year
Same
12.
Whoa.
It's the year
Oh,
12.
we had like the sports shirts, but everyone
Mm.
had the sports shirt.
I was gonna say, but like your actual like, oh look, I'm year 11. Then.
Standard uniform, yeah.
We had a jumper too though for year 12.
Oh, interesting. Oh, as in
So-
like a year 12, like order jumper with the year on the back jumper? Or
Yes,
like
yes,
school
that.
jumper? Yeah, right. Yeah, we have one. I don't know where mine is. Probably paid $80 or something. I don't even care about. Like I don't miss high school.
That's why I was like, I got the year 7 one I think, but I think the year 7 did we even have to pay for the year 7? Maybe that's why because we didn't have to pay for it. Who knows, honestly. Let's see here. High level trash talkers see me here in chat. It's pretty well for when I play Yoshi someday. Plot twist, I knew it. Accidentally learned talking English. I like that spirit, Himbojo. We'll see. Again, like we might run different times and segments for like if we don't have the right people, but we'll see.
Yeah. I definitely think 3, like me, Yoshi, and someone else.
Yes, I think 3 people was fantastic.
But that'll be something we discuss on.
That's right. We'll figure it out. But
Or
yeah,
the
expressing
different
interest
people.
helps because then I can
It
like
does.
consider. Accidentally learned German. But like my sister just learned it in like under an hour.
Yeah,
Because obviously she did that.
I can learn Japanese in under an hour.
Jeez, Tanner.
I got
Why?
recommended
Yeah.
a video about learning Japanese in under an hour the other day. Like,
Ooh.
dubious. I'm very dubious of this.
You know, me looking
Like, I
at
can-
your
I
like
can
subs and
already
stuff,
speak
I was
Japanese.
projecting my like my own desires onto your sub box, and now you're just gonna get it.
Yeah.
Ah,
Accidents.
oops.
Oopsie. I learned another language. I can speak Japanese really well. Like, konnichiwa.
Oh, this again, Tanner. That'll be for another day.
Hey, you were participating in it too. And
No,
Hamburger's here.
no,
so that's everyone.
another day. It's another time, that is. A time and a place.
Tomorrow.
For now,
There is a
what
time
was the
and
current,
every place for every
the current thing? I don't remember.
Neither.
Xyrnq, what was the current thing?
No, the kind of thing with psychological warfare in
Right. So then, Tenor, I assume it's a similar. Oh, actually, for you haven't really gotten to that point in Puyo, right? You're like just focusing on your own game, so you're not
Yeah.
really experiencing any like. Oh, I didn't know there was a one up there. Okay, cool. Anyway,
I mean, it happens a bit in Tetris because
do you think so? Oh,
it's sort of like because Tetris is enough muscle memory that you can just
yes, right. Puyo, but Tetris
Look.
you can muscle memory a lot better than Puyo, I'd say.
yeah. And then basically just what happens is oh, it happens a lot when I'm in like a voice call with is that with you where I just go I'm vibing and then you like kill me.
It's the greatest thing.
It's like in party mode, like I'm constantly complaining about how bad it is.
Yeah, fair. Okay, so when you're in voice especially, yeah, you can do a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. But like at the moment, at your skill level, it's not that important to like really get into the mind of the other player. Just go, hey. Right, there we go, I think. Mario, oops. Bird going, don't break the fourth wall like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I be your accident student hamburger?
Can I be your accident student? What kind? I don't even understand the
did you
question.
finish race?
No, I'm paused for a moment.
Ah.
Fun times.
Oh, wait, Boo wanted to wait. Hold on.
You're not the question asker.
Fine, I'll ask Boo if Xenix can ask what Boo asked.
I've
what
already
Boo
read
said.
it. I'm gonna ask.
Okay, God. Why didn't
I
you
just-
even ask him for his, like, consent? Honestly.
Wow.
I thought it was a general.
Wow.
Can someone ask? And as the question asker, I thought that was my job.
Fine. The mascot can ask questions too, you know.
Is that a question?
Yo, Dink Baron, I know PPT2 is out. The thing is, I don't have digital, and the thing is, I want confirmation on the thing. The
Wait, it's
story
out?
mode thing.
Hold on,
Yes,
I
yes.
asked my mum for
it is
$60 real
out.
quick.
But yeah,
Is it out for you?
for me it's 12.
Is-
So, oh no, for you it
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be. Tanner!
It's 9:37.
No, it won't be out yet then. It's not out for you
That's
yet.
so
Sorry,
weird.
sorry, buddy.
Why are we having staggered releases for games in 2020?
Because it's funny. You know, they delayed the Japanese
Because-
version more as well. I don't know if that's a time zone thing or if that's just fun. But
Well,
like,
the Japanese
why
people
didn't-
got the demo,
I'd
so
say
like
so.
that's why.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's because they got the
So hang on,
demo. It's
is
the price you have to
Baron
pay.
Australian?
Also Australian, there you go, now you know. Anyway, I'm getting a physical copy, so I'll get it like during the day.
It'll be coming in about an hour, Yoshi. Don't
Hopefully,
worry.
ha, if only. So hopefully Puyo
Same
Official
day
gives me the...
delivery, more like same hour.
I think if Puyo Official doesn't tell me that it's okay, I'll just play like online. and explore the modes and stuff. I'm okay with like waiting on the characters and the story if I have to. And otherwise,
Oh,
I'll
you're playing it blind.
if I'm not allowed to stream it, I'll just record my reactions and upload it like later on, like I don't know, in a year's time or something maybe.
Have delayed gratification and not play it immediately.
I could, but then I'm gonna get spoiled on the 28th character.
Yeah,
It's so sad.
Um,
But yeah, it depends.
Are we done with the psychological warfare stuff?
I think so. Got a digital?
Alright,
Nice.
let's go to Boo's question, man.
Which
Are
is
you a good person?
who's a good person?
Do you see yourself as a good person? Just in general.
Yes.
Good answer.
I guess it's because of the sort of a lot of it becomes from what people say to me, but I think objectively, it's an interesting thing to judge yourself like this, I suppose. Like, I feel like helping people is objectively a good thing, right? And I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yes. Oh, maybe.
There's a bit of like, not helping is better help in the long run.
Oh, I can understand that though. Yes, like, do you mean this in the context of self-learning as
Just
a thing or
like-
what?
So all the like big examples are generally pretty bad. So like, if someone's an alcoholic, it is generally agreed upon by like psychologists that letting them really hit bottom is way better for them than giving them free rent when they lose their house. Because
Hold on.
giving them free rent gives them money that they otherwise wouldn't have to buy alcohol.
It's
Ah.
enabling, isn't it?
Yeah, the enabling.
Oh, okay, yes, that makes sense.
I'm gonna write a strongly worded email to Puyo official about this.
Why?
It's out. It isn't even the 8th.
Oh no.
I'm appalled.
Oh, I guess it's just if
They
it's out
don't
in
have
any
staggered releases
place in
in
Australia.
2020.
I suppose, yeah, because it's just an Australian eShop, it doesn't actually matter, really.
That's it. Twitter.com.
Oh, I wonder if they responded to me. I might just check that now, just in case. Probably not though.
Cool. So, are you a good person? And I guess why?
Can we extend that to all of us?
Yeah, no, that was a...
That was the general question.
Okay,
That was
good. Because I have a mixed response.
Yeah, the thing is, I think it's fair to say it because if I strive to be this good person and I'm fulfilling what I think other people should be doing, so much of the time I feel like I'm speaking myself out, like up on this pedestal, but like I think it's warranted. Like that feels wrong, but I know you guys understand what I'm getting at. It's a weird thing to say, but that's the thing, right? Like I don't wish for the like. I don't need to wish for people saying these things to me because the sort of responses that I get are already gratifying enough, right? Like if I see that they've been helped, like I've just done my job successfully, right? It's the whole like if you are doing something and you're enjoying yourself, then just keep doing it, and it won't feel like it's a chore or a problem, right? Like the thing is, it's one of those things where like I've gotten good at it. Like I think it's a skill to be good at,
it definitely.
like the core of it, like respect and patience, like those are all skills that you learn, and also like self-helping and being able to understand yourself, your own feelings, being able to like psychoanalyze yourself, and then being able to like help other people understand themselves as well, because you won't necessarily always understand other people from your discussions with them because maybe you haven't had the experiences, so you might never understand the way a person feels specifically because of that. But being able to help them in whether that be like through psychology or just being there for them, something like that, I think that's a big deal. And so yes, I'd say I'm a good person because I like recognition of these things is one of the biggest things, and like it's just because people don't know this, right? They never think about it, so then they don't. Then they just. I say that like, oh, I will never understand why people can't just be nice. right? And even now, like, I still get lost in it every now and then, but when I really think about it, it's the sort of thing where, like, yeah, they don't recognize the harm they're doing, and just because it doesn't directly affect them doesn't mean it's not going to bite them in the back, even if they don't realize it. So, it sort of is, it's weird, it's sort of a selfish thing as well, because it's then kind of like putting up a safety net for yourself, but I think the core of it is if we ended up helping each other anyway, then just everyone will have be a safety net for each other, and so it balances out. And so yes, I'd say I'm a good person. The end.
Have you ever felt like a bad person? Like for any long duration of time? I'm sure you've felt instances where you felt like a bad person.
For a long duration, that's really
So like,
interesting.
maybe if you reject someone, you feel like a bad person for a little bit because you'll upset someone. But that feeling doesn't last that long. Not on the order of like weeks. Even.
I was about to say, because yeah, because there are things here and there that you do and you're like, all right, I'm not so happy with that decision.
Or even if someone asks you for help and you can't help at that time.
Yes, right. But then
That's
you're
a bad feeling not being able to help.
yes, it's a bad feeling, but it's not like a sort of like what's the word for like an extended thing but not chronic? Maybe chronic. I don't know. What is the definition of chronic? Like a month, right?
Like recurring.
Of recurring? Recurring for long periods, right? Is it? I don't know. It's sort of weird. I don't know if there's a word for like something that's just extended though. Maybe just extended. Right.
Not Wikipedia. Google doesn't have a definition box.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Chronic condition is a human health condition or disease that is persistent or otherwise long-lasting and suspect or a disease that becomes time. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, persistent and everything then.
Yeah.
Oh, poor man.
Bless you. Hello, yours.
Yeah. So do you think you've been a bad person? Let's say, have you had the feeling where you've been a bad person from for a month or so, maybe longer, no less than a month? And do you remember what induced the feeling?
No, actually. It's so weird to utter that.
Or no to the second part?
Wait, wasn't the second part an extension of the first one? What induced that feeling? Hold on, did you say something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first part is, have you had a feeling of, have you felt like you've been a bad person for longer than a month, a continuous month? And if so, what induced that?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a no from me, I think. Like, I don't know how long ago it was when I really started developing these morals. They feel like they've always been a part of me. So I think I've always been doing this right thing, at least by my standards. So I don't feel the need to say that I'm this like bad person at any point, and I don't think I've had an extended period with it. Yeah, no, it's been pretty smooth sailing for me.
That's good.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom? No worries, Tenor.
I guess seeing as he's gone, I say my one. I think
Yes.
I have. I don't remember what induced it. It was possibly just like depression after breaking up with my first girlfriend. But yeah, I felt like a horrible person for my early 20s. To the point that it's only been this year, I think, where I started agreeing that I'm a good person. Like other people have said to me that I'm a good person, and I've finally started
Come to
agree.
accept it, right?
Yeah,
Because it takes a long time to train yourself,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, like I've been trying to think about why people would be saying that about me, and in particular, I look at the hours I volunteered rather than like being paid to do stuff. And I spent a lot of time volunteering my time, apart from like expert knowledge. I did equity, which I don't do. Like I've tutored a whole bunch of first years, second years, and third years in the math that I know for like no charge at all. I've only ever charged 2 people because I needed them. And even then I like went way below what standard rates are for my area.
Right.
And I threw in food.
Yeah,
That
too
felt like
kind. It's
but yeah, yeah, I felt like a horrible person in my early 20s, and just threw myself into volunteering because that's a good thing to do.
right.
Like, it seems to be something that most people think of as virtuous.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good
you'll
self-help
find-
technique too, I think.
Yeah.
Like doing something that you
giving yourself-
can't like rationally at all. Like a lot of the time people are like, oh, be rational, right? But like the best way to do something like is what is objectively known to be a nice thing and then just do it, right? Like
Yeah,
and then you can't argue with yourself on that.
yeah. Yeah, it's only like this year where I've stopped volunteering because COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
And leaving the uni, I guess.
But you also took the now that you have the time to think about it as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that someone's like pressuring me to think about it as well, I'm changing the inertia.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wholesome stories.
So I guess I'm starting to think of myself as a good person.
Oh, that's awesome.
In answer to this question.
That's pretty cool. I think he was asking if we thought he was a nice person, a good person. And
Absolutely.
my cat is attacking my...
I do think he is
Oh
a
my
very
God.
good person.
Oh, right. Yeah, I totally missed the I in there.
Oh, really?
Yep, I totally read it as
I
if he was a
was
good
like,
person.
Xyrnq, are you sure that you're...
I
reading this
totally misread that.
correctly?
That's,
My bad, Boo.
you know what, good discussion regardless. But yes, I think he is.
Yeah, I think Boo's a good person too. I think
Yes.
Boo's roughly your age, right?
Yes, he is slightly older.
Yeah. Roughly your age.
Oh, it's fun.
Don't go, Boo.
To
If
talk
you do,
about.
I will cry.
Oh, was
He
he saying
must be
sorry
good
I
friend.
should go because like you messed up or something? He didn't mess up. Boo. There was no problem. You should stick
Yeah,
around.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with what you said.
And yeah, I do think you're a good person, Boo. I think you're.
What was that hitbox? Okay, anyway.
He boxes in swimming stages of it.
No, that was goofy. No, it was not even swimming.
Oh, okay.
It was, I hit the bullet bill underneath and apparently it still stepped
Oh,
on
if
it.
you're fallen.
Oh,
you
that's
count as
right.
different.
I remember hearing about that. Okay, yes.
What was I thinking about? Boo?
Yes. Oops.
I think Boo is a good person, but like self value.
That's the main thing, Boo. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's mainly you saying that you have these problems actually, and I want to point that out because it's really important to recognize that. Because once you start seeing like what other people are saying about you, you'll learn to love yourself a lot better as well.
I don't know how much we should like on stream push about Boo.
Oh no, yeah, that was just my blanket statement. I'm like,
Yeah.
just in general, if anyone is struggling with these things, definitely it's that sort of thing where take a step back for a moment and just really recognize the people around you. If people are saying bad things about you, then think about like how much their opinions matter to you. Because a lot of the time, the people who say these things are people who just, they actually aren't the people that you hang out with much anyway, right? You don't care about their opinions.
Should, like, write
Yeah.
that before or something.
Nice. Plug for Xyrnq's book.
I
The
have-
Hannibal goes through the block.
Yeah, I know. It's so goofy. What a
I
game.
promised I'd have it done by Christmas to the person I promised I'd write.
How far in are you now?
I
Like,
have wrote nothing more since we last talked.
oh no.
Oh.
Rip.
We'll hopefully have something.
Sounds good.
Because I do want you to read and I do want to like discuss the ideas in it on the talking stream. if that's
Yes.
something you want to do.
Oh, absolutely. I'm down for that.
What else is there? Good person, bad person.
Was there anything else on that? Otherwise, I'll quickly get through chat as well, because I think there will probably be some interesting stuff
Yeah,
in this.
quickly go through chat. I've got something following up from that.
Yeah. Okay, so, Boda's complimenting you and saying it is the first step to the way of the waifu. How do you feel?
How far am I to waifu? Please. Please tell me.
Xenix feels nothing. Alright, thanks.
Oh, hang on, was that about me?
Yeah, Boda was complimenting you. You found peace and accepted yourself. That truly is
Oh,
the
right.
first step to the way of the waifu. There you go. He says keep it up though. Accidentally became wife. This is gonna be recurring. This is the thing. Like I accidentally did this. I like it. Oh, Bruno asks, can you be too much of a good person? Hemberto responds, well, Bruno, some people find it bad if you try to overextend your help, for instance, when it's not needed or wanted. good and bad are subjective, so if in your vision your action was good other than find it bad. I was talking about overextending, Bruno says. So this is about, not about burning yourself out, right? Like, it's about, what xyrnq said. Where there are cases where, the thing is, you always want to analyze your actions, right? It's like, you might think something's good, but that's why you have to take that step back and say, like, look at it maybe objectively, talk to other people about it, get other opinions on it, because you don't know what you don't know. So if you think something is a good idea, but like you're kind of question mark on it.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's nah, but it's that sort of thing where, like, just talk to other people about it, and really, if something is ever questionable in your mind, whether it's a good thing or not, take a step back. Do not rush into it. That is so important, right? If something's clear, like, just go for it. Like, just help them, right? But if you ever hesitate, then there's usually a good reason for it. And, like, maybe you can still help them, but there will be other methods, right? It might not be the obvious answer. Might not be the right answer. So, just keep thinking about stuff. Hamburger says, that's the struggle, you can only try thinking about your own view, you can't satisfy everybody. That is correct. Tenor, even your cat tries killing you at the moment, you've got a long way to go. Nice.
Well, my cat won't be killing me anytime soon, because I don't have a cat anymore.
Well, dumb. Wait, what?
It can't kill me. So now, am I wife?
Bruno says, being good to other people but forgetting. So, yeah, my thing was, like, was it about overextending in the sense that, like, you're doing too much for the other person, they might feel like they're being whatever, or is about yourself? Yes, forgetting self-help. And I think that's the important thing. If you are taking some people kind of help others to kind of, it's like the opposite of why people bully others, right? Like, they feel less insecure about themselves. But a lot of people also do the same for, you help others to make yourself feel good about yourself. And the sort of thing where, if you forget about, it's an interesting question, because there is a point, I think, where, like, for me, for example, I never feel like I'm not satisfying my own needs. I always feel like I'm so content with myself that I can just reach out to other people. Like, I'm always talking about, I have this position, I'm going to use it to do good for other people, because I'm already in a good enough position, I don't need any help myself. Like, in general, I don't need any help. So, it's time to reach out. But I think, yeah, again, it's one of those things where I was talking about looking at yourself and really analyzing the situation for not just other people at this point, but yeah, looking at yourself as well and being like, do I need help? Do I need to talk to other people? Because the more you do that, the more you're going to get better at helping others too, right? In understanding yourself, you then start understanding other people. Because again, if you start understanding yourself, you understand your point of view, you know where your point of view came from, it's easier to listen to other people and then take that information in and make it useful. The more you're doubting yourself, the less you can come to understand other people a lot of the time, because you don't understand your own views, you don't understand their views, and everything's a mess, right? So taking time to fix yourself if there's any issues is extremely important. And then at that point, I don't think there's technically, you can't be too good of a person. You can always do more. As long as you're taking time for yourself. Time to think. A lot of the time it's just think. Like, in the rush of daily life, you don't get time to think about yourself or anyone else a lot of the time. Just, yeah, taking moments, just think about things is the key. Because once you do that, then yeah, I think you can go all out. That is what I would say about it.
Yeah, I'm going to...
yeah.
Oh, sorry, you can go, Tenor, if you want.
Question.
Yes.
I was listening, so don't make fun of me. But
Tenor, what have I ever...
remind me, what am I talking about?
In this respect, the question was, can you be too good?
Can you be too good? No, I don't think you can.
To clarify, that was basically your summary too, right, Yoshi?
Yes, I would say no.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
you can't be too good.
There's no such thing as being too good, because if you're too good in the sense that you're just like really helicopter and you're not very nice, that kind of just overflows and gets ripped around to bad. and it's just not very nice.
But
On
in the short term, that's often a good thing. In the long term, it's often a bad thing. So, for example, if you're a helicopter parent and you're stopping your child from falling out of a tree or something, short term, that's a very good thing. Your child hasn't broken a bone. If you're stopping them from drinking poison, very good thing. They're not gonna die, or get like sick. But if you're doing that for every little danger that comes along, like if they scrape their knee, it's gonna hurt for 5 minutes. They're gonna cry a bit, but in the long term, they're gonna build resilience if you let them do that.
Good resilience, and they will start understanding, like,
Yeah.
that's how you develop fears, right? Like, something has to happen fast, because otherwise you will
Wait a
never gain
minute.
that understanding.
Yeah. If you're
Hold
not
on.
being exposed to these things, you're just gonna be terrified of everything. Have
Exactly.
terrible anxiety.
Exposure is the thing.
But in the short term, stopping the child scraping its knee and crying for the next 5 to 10 minutes is a good thing.
Yes.
So I'm going to disagree with both of you and say yes, you can be too good. Basically for that reason.
Huh.
Because you can over-optimize for the short term.
That's it. I think, okay, here's the difference though. The thing is, if you're thinking enough about it, then you will recognize that, right?
I
So
suspect most
I
people
think
aren't capable of thinking like 3 steps
so
ahead.
that's the key, right? And I was talking about this about overextending as well. If you understand your own limits, then no, you can't be too good of a person. And the same thing where you can be too good of a person in the short term, but in the long term, no. If you really think things through, I think you can always just end up with a better result. Or like the best result, you can land on it. So you're
I
just still a good person.
would tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go right back to the beginning of the conversation, I guess, of like, can you be too good of a person? I think there's like 3 situations where being a good person is the wrong thing to do. One was the enabler, where you're being a good
Yes.
person by giving someone a house or something, like a home, somewhere to stay, but that then enables them to continue their bad behavior, like just spiraling their life downhill, but not quick enough that they're going to hit rock bottom and actually fix their life as a result of hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
So allowing them to spend money on alcohol instead of rent, for example, means that they've got to drink more. And if they're homeless with no money, nowhere to get money, they have to somehow sort that out. And they're not going to be able to drink anymore. They're going to go through this horrible bit of withdrawal, and it's going to make them very ill, and they'll come through that and be a better person for it at the end.
It's like vaccines.
Yeah, maybe. Like, you're not guaranteed to get sick of a vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not talk COVID because that's.
Oh, no. I just mean the whole inject a bad thing, come out with a better thing.
Yeah. Like measles vaccine, totally fine.
Yeah.
Then you've got the narcissistic type of person, who is only doing it to feel good about themselves. So only helping people because it makes them look good to their wider community and it makes them feel good about doing it, and they have no real care for the person that actually helped.
Do you think those are 2 different things? Doing something for the public image, doing something for your self-image? Because I think so, right? Like when I talk about when we mentioned the whole
Right. I think I've miscommunicated then.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting pleasure out of the virtue signaling rather than the virtue signaling to the general public. That's where you're deriving your pleasure, not from the help in itself.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense then. Cool.
I think that's a really bad way to be a good person.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because you're not actually doing it to help the person. As soon as the general public stop, like, by general public I mean the people within your circle of friends.
Yes.
Perceive you.
When they stop seeing it, then like it stops
once
mattering,
they stop
right?
seeing it, you're gonna stop helping.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That's right.
you're not really a good person. You just appear to be a good person.
Yes.
And then you've got the overextending yourself, good person. The good person who doesn't recognize that the person they have to help the most is themselves.
Yes. Right.
Like, if you can't help yourself, you can't help anyone else. This is why you put your mask on before putting a mask on your passenger, like the person next to you in a plane if the plane goes down. Because you're gonna pass out if you try to put that thing on.
Yes. That makes sense.
You have to put the mask on first.
Yeah. That's right. Wow, that's such a good way of putting it. I've never heard that one before. That's really good.
Yeah, I think those are the like 3 things that come to my head where you can be too good of a person.
Yeah.
Well, a good person in a bad way.
Yes, that's right. Because it's
In a
about
negative way.
recognizing your limits. Because the thing is, you're being a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
person, but like, you're
To the detriment of other things.
yes, and that includes yourself. So if you're being a good person to other people, you're not being a good person to yourself anyway. So you're just a bad person. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I often sacrifice sleep to help other people with
Yeah.
math,
Yeah.
and I probably should stop doing that at some point. But at the moment, it's not really impacting my life because I'm not really doing anything with my
Yeah.
life.
I think
I
that's the
can
main thing,
sacrifice
right?
a couple of hours here and
Like
there.
it's just weighing different things is the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
thing. And yeah, if there's nothing to lose, then there's nothing to lose. May as well
Yeah,
lose a bit of sleep.
yeah.
I've done that a
And
little bit.
I don't think I've ever done the virtue signaling part of it. I'm sure I've done the enabling bit though.
Mm.
Like I can't think of an example, but I'm sure I've done it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you don't see it. Like it's very hard to see unless you have the like that's why you do research, right? And everything. That's the main thing. Again, thinking about things, researching, just
I'd probably just
so
like
important.
help someone who I should have let suffer a little bit more
Right.
with like maths and stuff. Just
Yeah.
got them through a test which I helped cram for or something,
Yeah.
where they should have failed the test and then realized where all
Like
their
learn
gaps
the
in knowledge
lesson
were.
because
Yeah,
then they like become reliant and independent and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
it's a problem.
Like I'm sure I've accidentally done that at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
It's okay, Cinder, I died. Hey, Jabja, welcome. That's against the law. Oh, it's so sad.
well, yeah, that's 2 real questions, all from 1 question basically.
Yeah. Interesting, though.
Are you getting tired or still happy to go on?
I'm happy to go on. Tenor?
Right.
I don't know what happened to Tenor, actually.
Tenor's parents are in the kitchen.
Oh, I see.
So something you mentioned talking about thinking about yourself. You mentioned that you've thought about your morals a bit and
Mhm.
what they are, and you're not quite sure when they came to you,
Hmm.
and you feel like they've always been there.
Yeah.
I'm almost certainly going to disagree with that because you didn't come out of the womb with morals. You've like developed them at some point, maybe
Yes.
really early, and you just don't remember.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I meant.
Yeah, no. But that wasn't my question really.
Okay.
Have you ever tried to write down your morals?
No. No. I haven't.
Have you ever even thought about writing down your morals?
For yourself? Because the main thing is like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
mostly for
probably,
yourself.
yeah, tried to discuss them with other people and everything, but yeah, no, for myself, I've never really like done that. Or thought.
So, spoilers on book. First chapter of book is about why you should write a whole bunch of stuff. And even just writing the book, because the book is basically just my set of guiding principles that I like try to live my life by.
Uh-huh.
And just writing stuff down is
Oh, it's a
even
huge deal.
finding quotes
Mm-hmm.
of other people said that like relate to my life
Uh-huh.
is like crazy helpful for just organizing the thought.
Organizing thoughts, right? Because writing helps you organize it. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Huh. So that's something, just a thought then, mainly?
Yeah, like I don't really want to go into it too much because it's basically the first chapter of the book.
Yeah, so that'll be covered there. But that makes sense. And I suppose that goes in the whole, like, yeah, analyzing every situation however you can. And yeah, there you go, writing stuff down, including something
So,
that seems so bizarre.
second paragraph starts with, so why is writing important? The short answer is, it allows us to structure our thoughts much better than any other method, and it allows us to share our thoughts with others. Writing is a challenge. Writing about a topic that you don't quite fully understand will allow you to understand it significantly better and retain the information much better than just thinking about it, as the thought has to go through more processes in your mind, giving you more places to latch onto it for your thought.
Yeah.
And then I expand on that idea a little bit more.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then I talk about a bit what you should be writing, well, what I think you should be writing about, what I write about.
Makes sense.
I think writing is very important.
I agree with that.
Like, having a conversation with someone is the worst way to, like, really solidify a thought, I think.
Huh. To
because
solidify a thought.
yes.
Hmm.
So if we're having a conversation
Okay.
and I don't quite understand an idea, but you do understand the idea, and I start saying stuff, you can finish my sentences. Like you can finish the thought for me,
Hmm.
and I don't really understand the thought.
Oh. Oh no, I understand now. Right. Right.
Whereas if I'm sitting here thinking about it, everything's got to be fully within me.
It's like
Like,
when you're running cheat sheets.
yeah. So if I'm sitting here thinking about it completely, like shut off from everyone else, it has to all be my thoughts. But you still have those, I see where this is going type of thoughts as well.
Yes. Yes.
Like you start off this long complicated chain of like reasoning, and you're like, yeah, I kind of see where this ends up. But you still haven't really solidified the thought. Whereas if you write it down and like complete the writing, you've got rid of the other person.
Yeah.
There's no other person. You've got rid of those, I see where this is going because you've wrote it all down.
Yeah.
I thought it's like really solidified.
It is solidified where it's written. Yeah, if something's written. That's so interesting. And just in chat as well, like just a quick thing, really interesting. Writing in another language, helping people think through what they're really saying, rather than writing in your native one.
Yep.
That's really
So
interesting.
one of you
Okay.
veterans.
Okay. Can I please interrupt this? Can I please
Yeah,
interrupt this?
of course.
Do it.
I did PCO in tap.
Stop, Tenor. You're going to destroy everything. It's okay. You don't get a bonus for that though. You get a medal though. I hope you're proud.
I'm so happy. Let me record that. Windows G, baby. Let's go.
This is a moment. See, Tenor is the hype man. I told you guys.
Yep.
I am the hype man. I'm not even kidding. You guys are talking about stuff, and I'm like, I'm listening. And stuff like that.
Don't worry,
And I
Tenor.
get
You have good
266,
thoughts.
and I die. I'm like, oh,
It's
that's
alright.
so sad. And then I do PCO and I get bravo.
Hilarious.
That's an interesting point.
Detaching
Also,
yourself.
feel more detached, yeah. So being able to detach yourself and look objectively at yourself is super hard. And another skill that you have to develop.
Yeah, but extremely useful because it's like if you look at other people, it's easier to like looking from an outsider view. So important.
What was it?
Oh my god, you're kidding me. It didn't actually record the whole, like...
Oh, by the way, enjoy the food, Hemboto. That sounds so good. I want some.
Yes, Hamburger. Good food.
Right, so good. It's okay. Xyrnq will make us chocolate stuff whenever we get around to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Right.
gonna put chocolate.
Xyrnq, it'll be like good anyway.
Like,
Food is
It'll be
food.
comparatively good to most other things we've tried. Probably. Yeah, it's not. My chocolate's not something I'm happy with yet.
You still hyped it anyway. It's fine.
It's not something I would be like happy to sell.
Fair
Whereas
enough.
I would be very happy to like charge $20 for the
Oh yeah, fair.
Oh, yeah.
bottle.
I hear so many good things about your
It's all for me though. It's very biased.
Reason bot pops in. I think it's.
I guess Reason has tried it. I don't want to say Reason's missing the experience because he doesn't get the
egg,
but he's
right?
definitely missing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think
that's
it's
fair.
such a big part of the experience, in my opinion.
I'd imagine so.
But yeah, writing stuff is very important.
Right.
I suspect once you try to write down your morals as well, if you do actually go through that exercise, that you'll realize there's a whole bunch of like contradictory stuff.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, not necessarily contradictory, just stuff you haven't thought out enough to figure out where the boundaries between two different morals are.
That makes sense though, yeah. Okay.
So
Lots
like
to
the
think about.
being a good person, that's got a weird boundary, right?
Yes,
You don't want
yes.
to be too mean in the short term, but you also want to optimize for the long term because
That's
someone's
right.
life isn't the next 5 minutes, it's the next 50 years.
Right, that can be like an inner conflict as well. Like
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
understand that. Yep, that makes sense.
Like the Hippocratic Oath is self-contradictory, right? The do no harm. Because to do surgery, you have to do harm.
Yes,
You
that's
have
right.
to like.
It
help.
hurts when they put the needle in.
Exactly, right? You can't not
They
do no harm
lie.
and also help you.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends if you want to take a spirit or... It's like what you were saying about setting up Fight Cade, and I was like, if tomorrow's gonna be in like an hour,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spirit or the letter. But yeah, like in general, you don't want to hurt people in the short term, but sometimes you just gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
Some kind of weird contradiction going on with the morals. So.
Yeah. So knowing how to define those boundaries is going to be really
Yeah.
useful for like future thought processes.
Yeah, yeah. And the like more clear you have a thought in your head, the like quicker you can think about it.
That's right. Yeah.
I need to shift that thing up as well. I'm hopeful to have the chapter about writing stuff done at the end of this. That is my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, hi lecturer.
Hi. Welcome, welcome.
You're taking us to Outland? I'm kidding.
He has already done some magnificent stuff. I
It's
love
so
his.
good.
I love
hang
his.
on.
Swear to God.
Electro, if you have PPT2, you're not allowed to spoil anything.
No, he doesn't have the game yet because he's in America. Ha ha ha.
You're
You
the
sure?
20th
Because
character.
Boo said I'm leaving if he's gonna spoil.
What? Huh?
Boo said he got PPT2, and he's leaving if he's gonna spoil.
Wait, who got PPT2?
Boo.
Wait, 39 minutes. No, this is at 5 minutes ago though. I don't know who he's talking about.
Oh.
He was saying tell lecturer though, like hugs.
Oh.
Boo,
right,
you
right.
do not have chat open?
Oh, he may be talking
Shaking my
about
head.
Tenor.
Oh, Tanner.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, no, Tanner wouldn't do
Oh,
that, it's fine.
I don't have PPT2.
Yeah, he didn't get it yet anyway, it's fine. No one has PPT2. Except, I assume Dank Baron and Grass have it then.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Grass run today. Have we? Did we see it
We
earlier?
have it.
Earlier
We paid
today?
for it. It's just sending.
Well, yes, okay, it's on its way, but like I don't have it yet. Like I don't have it on my Switch yet. It is coming. Horror-y.
Conjunction.
I suppose that's the
With
main thing though,
destiny,
like...
and why can't I fight?
The thing is, there's actually a very interesting question to be asked about, like, streaming things day one if other people want to experience things themselves anyway. So it's like, would I want to save that experience for the other people as well, if you're going to stream it regardless? Or if you're going to record it anyway, then yeah, like, it's no problem because you just release it later. But
I don't
if you're
think there's any
streaming-
moral quality with streaming day one.
Oh, no. There's no issue with it, but like the question would be like, how many people would actually be interested then?
Right.
Mm.
I think you should just do whatever you want to.
Yeah. No, I agree. Except don't ignore the actual like what like Sega says because I don't want to be banned from Switch.
Not really.
Yeah, obviously listen to Sega.
Now, my favorite thing would be like people playing along, like experiencing it with me. I think that's one of the best ways you can experience things.
Me and you in VCT.
Maybe
I'm stuck on the
if you're
first
around.
level.
First level what? Oh, you want this one?
I'll drop in VC and experience that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
I'll be
wait,
down for it
did
if I can get it
you don't
tonight.
know?
I
Oh,
don't-
wait, did we ever tell you about the general gist of the first story? Like, do you know anything about it? Well,
There's
the
a synopsis on the Wikipedia article.
You guys can
Would-
tell me tomorrow.
yes, okay, yes, we'll tell you to like. Maybe I should do. Maybe while it's on its way, I'll play through the first PPT actually.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
'Cause
actually-
I'll drop
I-
in PPT for that.
Yeah, okay,
You know
cool.
what annoys me?
How is it though,
Wait.
Dank Baron? Just quickly, I just want to say
never mind,
good,
never mind.
right? You have to say good, right?
I'm sorry. I thought that they made the like portal between the like where X lives and then like Puyo Land and the Tetra.
I thought it was
but
just the Tetra,
no, it was just the Tetra,
so they should never have forgiven
which is
him.
why they forget.
Yes.
And then Tetra's Echolo. I mean Marl.
I'm wondering if Ekalo and Dark Prince do actually remember the Tetra crew. Because the thing is, they cross dimensions. They were the ones who were meant to
Yeah.
keep him, like, company. So it's like, hello, you should know these things. We'll see, though. I'm very curious about that plot point, or if they forgot about it.
Very curious.
They might have just forgotten. Hold on. Get through today and then you have your thing. Yeah, that's right. You got through a test today. Nice lecture. Very nice. Please not spoil anything. Don't worry, they won't. Like, everyone in the chat and everything. Like, all the people here are just cool. Any final thoughts on it? I know we derailed.
Oh, was that about writing?
Just in general, anyone had anything else to say? Because then we can let you continue. This is my main thought.
Oh, right.
I don't have anything else to say.
No, all good then. Cool.
What was I saying? Something about
Importance
solid
of-
brain thoughts,
yeah.
thoughts being easy to think about when you have a good understanding of them.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I guess if you have a good understanding of the shallow thought, you can build upon that thought and make a deeper thought. And when you have a good understanding of that deeper thought, you can make an even deeper thought.
Yeah.
So you'll see this concept in maths a lot. Like you'll see things called deep theorems and things like that.
Ooh.
So basically anything at the end of a proof course will be considered a deep theorem because it builds upon the things you're early on.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
So like spectral stuff. Did you get the spectral?
No idea.
Stuff in Mouch?
I never got around to it.
Yep, fair.
Oh, just quickly, I need to shout these guys out because they...
Oh, yeah,
Oliver, thank you for the raid. Much appreciated. What were you guys up to? Hello from
Actually, yeah,
Boy.
thank
Hello,
you,
3
boys
stand.
and
Dr. Bayet.
girls.
Hello, Ducky Poopy. Ducky Poopy. Reminds me of it, like my friend once played Roblox, he came across a guy called Daily Poopy. But you're
What?
Ducky
That's good.
Poopy,
Play
That's
so
good.
Roblox,
that's different.
Yoshi?
Yeah, welcome everybody. People.
We can play that Puyo clone I found on Roblox. It was actually really
My
nice.
goodness, maybe one day. Thank you so much, though. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
We are currently discussing writing thoughts down. Chill and touch on it? Ah, I appreciate it, though. Hope the session went well. Yo, xyrnq for the 3rd time.
I don't know if I have too much more to add. Just you can build upon thoughts. The better you understand them.
Right. Oh, spectral. Yeah, no, I never
Oh,
did it.
yeah.
Were
No,
you gonna like say something else about
Nah,
it?
not really.
Okay,
Just
fair, fair.
it's a fairly deep thing in like undergraduate and actual.
Okay.
You just learn a lot from it. Like you know a lot of information about the linear stuff. I don't even remember a whole bunch of it. There's too much stuff. But proofs to problems that appear deep but end up having a really nice proof are generally well regarded as well.
Huh.
So the proof to Fermat's last theorem, for example, is incredibly complicated. It's like 108 pages of stuff that basically no one understands.
Right.
Count the number of people on one hand who fully understand what's going on in that.
Okay. Wow.
But if there was a nice simple proof, that proof would be like lauded after. Is lauded the right word? Just as much as the really deep proof that added a lot to math. Because Fermat's last theorem statement is fairly like mundane. It doesn't do too much on its own.
Right.
It has a bit of stuff in control systems and stuff like that, I guess. But that's the only application I really know of.
Okay.
But the math that was used to prove it was just like being used everywhere.
So it's just like the building blocks. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the proof is way more important than the theorem.
Yes, that makes sense.
But a really elegant short proof of Fermat's last theorem would be loved by most of the community as well. Because it seems like it doesn't exist.
Right.
And it would have to be some really ingenious idea. Again, the proof being way more important than the theorem. It would have to be some really ingenious idea to link two really simple concepts together in some way that no one's ever thought about.
Right, and it's all about just, thinking outside of the thoughts that you already have.
Yeah.
Really fascinating. Really fascinating how it all links up in, like, mathematics. There you go. It's a great way to think about it.
Well, when you learn enough math, I'll, like, tell you about my general idea for how I've thought about automated theorem proving.
Okay.
But I've never really done anything with it.
Excitement.
A good way to encode mathematical statements if needed to even explore the idea.
Yeah, fair.
Like, practical way.
Gotta share the love. Indeed, we were talking about sharing the love around.
Yeah, I think that was the last really fun thoughts. Writing ideas down allows you to formulate the ideas really solidly in your own mind And also allows you to share those ideas with other people. That's why,
Yeah.
like, do we go through history? Yeah, I guess we go through a bit of history. So back in the day, knowledge spread was pretty slow because we basically only had physically copying a book to another book,
Yeah.
like by hand or via verbal. We could share stories verbal. That was the only way we could really check for knowledge. Then we had a bit of a boom around the printing press
Printing, yeah.
because we could more quickly copy books.
Yeah.
And knowledge became much easier to find. Literacy rates went way up. And we entered the kind of a golden age of learning as a society. And then for a few, like, 100 years, nothing really happened, and we invented radio, and it became even easier to get information out to the general public because
Yep.
you didn't even need to be literate anymore. And now we're living through some weird next thing possibly, because radio is only audio, and we are at the point where we can easily share video.
Yeah.
We can share visuals, and that is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we could do that with TV, but TV is weird. TV seems to
Restrictive?
yeah, restrictive in time, not necessarily in what you can say on it and stuff. But you can still share a lot of
Oh, yeah, yeah.
good ideas, even with like the restrictions that are placed on broadcasting things.
Yes.
No swearing at a certain time, no nudity, and no gory stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like you can work around all that, but you can't really work around the costs, like the monetary costs of TV.
That makes sense.
You need to break stuff up with ads, and you gotta have really well-running programs.
Yeah.
And stuff. But Joe Rogan, for example, talks to crazy intelligent people sometimes. He also talks to completely stupid people sometimes too. Like just to banter them, like
Right.
not in their intelligence, like not saying they say stupid stuff, just people who aren't academically inclined.
Yes, right.
People who are very good at their own thing, that wouldn't be considered like genius level people. But yeah, he talks to these genius level people, and people watch them like super interested, and they're 3 hours long.
Right.
Like the hour-long episode broken up with 2 to 3 minutes of ads every 7 minutes on TV doesn't facilitate a conversation like that.
No.
Whereas there still seems to be interest in things like that, and things like Joe Rogan podcast, because it's getting views. Like it's the biggest podcast in the world. Like there has to be something to how people want to get information. Well, not how people want to get information, but people want to get information.
Yes, right.
And things that are popular, so along the same kind of vein, Joe Rogan's kind of divisive. But I don't particularly like superhero movies. So I've never really watched any Marvel stuff or DC's. I've watched one of the Spider-Man movies, I think. But over the last year or so, I realized that I'm the idiot here. I haven't corrected the mistake of not watching them yet. But they're the biggest like stories of all time. Some of the the Marvel movies are the most viewed thing where you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, you have to pay for it to go to the movies.
Yes.
And that's where basically everything's measured. Like things like Harry Potter kind of come close, I guess. Those have been read a lot, but and J.K. Rowling was a billionaire because of that.
Yes.
But Marvel movies continually make billions of dollars.
That's right.
So there's something culturally, there's something that resonates culturally with all the people who are watching it. And I didn't realize that like years ago when I developed a bias against superhero movies just being obvious and boring and a whole bunch of cliches.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But
interesting.
that was my view. But that view can't possibly be right. Like, if there are a whole bunch of cliches just strung together, then
Why is there
why
such a
are
broad
those
appeal,
cliches
right?
resonating with so many people?
Yeah, right.
And it takes a lot of time to go back and watch a whole bunch of movies that just dismissed me as.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I haven't fixed that.
Nah, I need to get around to
But
the two,
it's-
honestly.
Yeah, it's something I will fix at some point because I realized that it's a shortfall in my cultural perception of life.
That's very interesting.
I think most people should read the Bible. I've read bits and pieces of it. I have not read it like all, but it's culturally one of the most important books in the Western world.
Right.
And like, despite a whole bunch of the Western world being atheists now, a lot of our values are still built on the Bible.
I didn't know this was a warp zone.
Incredibly
I'm gonna die.
important because, like, the Bible is like this really nice book about this guy who's really famous,
Tenor.
and then he gets killed for being too famous, and that makes him even more famous.
Tenor.
And they tell
Well, like-
you, they tell you not to like be mean to your neighbor or like steal, and to have Sundays off, and like all around, it was a very well-rounded book.
So Tenor's clearly being facetious, but let's assume he's not for a second.
Yes.
Let's go with the first bit. Guy who was famous and killed because he was too famous, just didn't like get more famous.
Yeah.
That's just a Streisand effect. So Barbara Streisand didn't want something released about her.
Yeah, he didn't. She didn't want the house, the picture
Yeah,
of the house,
the
right?
house. Yeah, yeah, and
then
she tried to squash it,
everyone was like,
and now everyone knows
oh
it.
my, yeah,
Right.
The picture is very easy to find. Same with stuff to do with the Communist Party in China. They try to squash stuff, and then it just gets spread
It
around.
explodes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I'm sure there's other stories throughout history as well. Like, between Bible and Barbra Streisand.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
same kind of thing
Bible
happening.
Streisand.
Like, this is why I think the Bible is probably should be read by a whole bunch of people, because it has like recurring stories in it, and they're all documented in one nice place.
Right.
Even if you're completely atheist, don't believe any of the like religious aspects of it, there's still stories that resonate culturally with almost everyone in the West.
I think that's one of
And
the
yeah, it's
biggest
still-
things for why I follow this religion. It's not just the faith aspect, even though I commit myself to it, but like I think it's the importance of those values that they have, right? Like the reason that we have these religions that we follow is like, you know, yeah, we believe these things, but like it just ends up making us a better person anyway, right? Like, so when we were talking about like not knowing my roots and stuff, like I know religion is a huge part of who I am, like the reason why I am the way I am. So yeah, I think just I agree with that, definitely. At least like pay attention to why people act the way they do, because of like religion and stuff. It's the values within that religion that really matter.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be saying this, but I don't think religion is like what people say, what people think it is, and it's just like,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
just you believe in this guy that like does stuff, and then this other one is you believe in the same guy but he did something else, and there's like different flavors and there's
Different
really, and
flavors.
everyone's like
That's a cute way to
it's
put
like-
it. I like it.
It's like it's like Pokemon Red and Blue. What's the difference? Not much, but there's still something. I should not be saying this at
How
all.
many times does world religions get compared to Pokemon?
Once.
I'm sure it's more than once.
I'm pretty sure it's more than once, yeah. But like, not everyone is a crazy just because they believe in.
Yeah, yeah, I totally.
Yeah. Because you can believe in science. Is that a religion?
Very much so.
Ontology.
You have to go through Hume's hypothesis.
Yeah.
Not Hume's hypothesis, Hume's problem with induction, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
So with science, you can only see stuff that's happened in the past, and you're going on faith that the stuff that happened in the past is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
So, like, does gravity, the rules of gravity that we have developed here on Earth work in Andromeda? And there's no way to verify that with current technology. We're just going on faith with it goes.
That's right. Faith. Pure
It's like
faith.
it's just thinking if this happened, then that must as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the faith. It's everything is faith.
You just gotta believe.
That's why believing in yourself is so important.
That rapping dog had it right all along. We just didn't know it yet.
There's also another aspect to religion I just can't quite put my finger on at the moment, where you're removing yourself as the primary thing. Not quite. You're not removing yourself as the primary thing. You're looking at yourself through the eyes of someone else or something else.
Yeah.
Like a god. You're
Ooh.
analyzing your behavior through, would God want me to do this?
Oh, okay.
Is it like in the sense of like you're doing this for a better cause or like the greater good?
I think that is probably a more restrictive way of practicing a religion. I think if you're going to church relatively often, you're probably looking at your behavior as how would God respond to this?
Right, a judgment
Yeah.
from an
Yeah, yeah.
hyper being.
Yeah, and then that's allowing you to look at yourself externally. You're detaching yourself from yourself in a way.
That's really interesting. Makes a lot of
Which
sense.
goes back to what we were talking about earlier, about how it's good to detach yourself. And we've been doing that for thousands of years. We've just kind of lost that in the last 50 years because religion became a negative thing.
Wow, that's so fascinating.
So last week we talked about how it would be inappropriate for me to learn a lot about the religious history of Christmas.
Yeah.
To talk about it. I hope I'm somewhat proven, like completely inadvertently, this was not my point, that I do respect religion a lot.
I had no doubt, Xyrnq. I had no doubt. That's why I was like, yeah, I don't care. You're not going to do anything about it anyway.
I don't want to be rude, but like, religious people can't be crazies if Yoshi's religious because like, I don't know.
How much
Yoshi's
Kool-Aid
really
if you
nice.
drank? Actually, do you even know where that saying comes from?
No.
Been drinking the Kool-Aid?
No.
It comes from a cult leader. He took
Kool-Aid
his-
cult.
Yeah, basically. Like he
What?
he poisoned the Kool-Aid of his cult and got them all to drink.
Wow.
Nice.
So yes, religious people can be crazy.
They can be, but
like the general
not
perception.
all of them.
Yeah, in general,
Not all religious people.
every single person I've met who's religious is a very nice person.
Yeah.
Like a practicing religious person, not these baptized Catholic.
I think you could put like throw a lot of labels on me and use me as an example of a good person, even though I've got particular tag attached to me. I can take pride in that, right?
One of the most satisfying things I've ever witnessed was to do with religion. So there was this very lovely girl who was in first year, maybe she was in second year at the time. I'd known her quite a while. She was probably second. And there was this very arrogant fourth year student
Okay.
doing honours in stats. She thought religion was a pile of shit,
Okay.
total joke.
Ooh.
Anyone who believed in it was an idiot. And in like a voluntary ran maths clinic where we help people for free who struggle with maths. The sweet first or second year girl was helping someone, and the older arrogant girl came in and started ranting about religion in front of this girl who she didn't know was really religious. And it was so satisfying watching like really quiet religious girl just like blast her.
Ooh.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love it when like
so good. And no one liked
hyper
the
hype.
arrogant girl. She
Wait,
thought she knew
is this the story where you were going on about like someone? I swear like we've had this like thing brought up, but like you didn't bring up the specific context.
possibly
I
not.
don't know. It's so
I don't
weird. I don't know
what
what it
you're
would have been linked. To. Like a girl going off.
I
on
could
another
sense,
for
I could
something
see
else,
myself
like-
censoring myself around religion, knowing that you were
Yeah, yeah.
religious in the early parts of talking about talking
Yeah.
to each other.
I wonder if that was actually brought up, or if this is just a strange case of deja vu. It's so
Possibly
weird.
strange behavior.
Could be.
Like
it could
I've
be.
yelled people. Like I'm generally a fairly like quiet-ish person around people I don't really know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've like raised my voice to the head of school before.
Yeah.
Without knowing it was the head of school. that was fun. Like, it was a new head of school. He was there
Mhm.
for like 3 months. Never met him. Never saw a picture of him. And the ladies in the office thought we were being too loud in our voluntarily ran mass help clinic,
Hmm.
teaching the other students without getting any compensation for it. Um, but at the same time, there was construction going on outside, and I asked for my students to be relocated because they shouldn't be doing tests that determine like next few years of their life. Because if they fail those tests, they have to do the course again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It is a bad mark too.
And yeah, and them trying to learn in a classroom with a whole bunch of noise outside is not good for their learning anyway.
Exactly.
So I've tried to argue with them for multiple weeks at that point that that noise is bothersome and they should be not in that room. Or the people outside doing the construction shouldn't be doing construction at that time.
Yeah.
And they just did not get it. They said they can work around the noise and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then we were being loud one day, and they asked us to be quiet, and I was like, sure, we'll try to be a bit quieter. We weren't quiet enough, apparently. They got the head of school. Like, it was a weird escalation. Like, office ladies whose job is basically the photocopy,
Mhm.
to head of school.
It's so goofy.
And head of school came like down to this voluntarily ran clinic for helping like people do mass determinant compensation. And it's like, so getting the complaint that you guys have been a bit too loud. And then I just like went on for 20 minutes or so with everyone else looking at me. Like I was a reasonably loud person at the time because I knew most of the people in the room. No one had ever seen me annoyed.
Mm.
Like a version on like angry. I don't really get angry at people outside of my family, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was verging on angry. Like
Mm.
I hate when people get in the way of my students.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like I just went off at him for about 20 minutes about why they're being such hypocrites. That they can't photocopy with a bit of noise for education in this education facility, but my students, while they're being educated, have to put up a whole bunch of noise, which is far louder than what we're being, because people can't schedule construction properly.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference? Like, why are these adults who are in a cushy job, which they can't be fired from, because if they could be fired, at least one of them should be gone by now, as compared to my students who are paying thousands of dollars, and aren't getting anything in return other than their education, or just jeopardizing their education.
Exactly.
And they may have to pay other thousands of dollars because they're not learning this content. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like, well, we'll try to find another room for you guys. Like, you didn't solve my underlying problem. God damn. Like,
You didn't do exactly as I said.
well, no, like, he should have solved the problem that the students had the loudness first, rather than the people who had a cushy job, which was press a button every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Occasionally record things. He should be looking out for the students more than he's looking out for his staff who don't need the quiet to do their job.
I get exactly.
If there were researchers who needed quiet to concentrate and stuff, sure, there may be an argument, or there may be a stronger argument.
At that point, though, then you'd know what the students have to go through, right? So you'd just be like
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
the construction. You wouldn't be telling the students, I think.
Yeah, right. Like, well, the solution was either to stop the construction or move the students to a different room.
Hmm.
Like, both solutions were fine. And yeah, like the reason that the construction was still going on was because they didn't realize there was asbestos in one of the buildings. The building was from the 50s. Like, how didn't they realize there was going to be asbestos in that building?
So silly.
Yeah. That's the last time I got angry at someone else, I guess.
Completely fair.
Yeah, I like my students. What even like prompted that? The last
Angry.
question I have written down is, have you tried to write down your morals?
Religion.
Oh,
Religion,
that's a big fat no.
What?
I have not tried because that's something I just cannot.
Oh yeah, Tenor never ended up actually.
No, I never ended up answering that. I can't because that's just. It's not that I don't want to know. It's just that I think that's just too sophisticated for a 15, I'm nearly 15, 15-year-old. that has a lot more stuff he could be doing rather than writing down what I do and why I do it, because not very good reasoning for why I do it, because I can't figure out why I do things.
Well, that's why you should write it down.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's just doing it in the first place.
Have you
Or just
thought
write
much about
garbage.
it? Because
Write
you
garbage.
right. There's also
Yeah.
I was gonna say like if like just take a moment to think and then like maybe then you'll be inspired to write anyway. Like if you're not actively thinking about it, like just the thought of it might seem off-putting. I think. But yeah, take just a moment to think about it. I think.
But something easier than writing down morals. Do you write down goals?
Oh, that's a huge thing.
Yes, usually at the start of the year and at the end slash start of the end of semester 1 and the start of semester 2.
Yeah.
Because that's when usually that's when the teacher's like, what do you want to do with your year at the start of 2020? And then we have all these great big ideas, new decade, new me. And they're like, well, there's this little virus going around.
Teeny tiny.
Put a dampener on things for a couple of months.
Alright, so do you write down more fine-grained stuff? Like, have you ever wrote down what you're going to do the next day?
I don't write it down. I usually think about it though.
Try writing it down and crossing it off as you go. Just try it for a week. See what
It's
happens.
so satisfying. It's
Like-
really good.
I'll just do daily Japanese practice like Yoshi, and I'll be really good. At
Write down
Japanese in
before
a
you go
week.
to bed what you're going to do the next day.
Okay.
And then
Hold on.
as you...
Yeah, I think so, right? I heard a noise in the background. Rip.
Set it there. Do you do this?
Not every day, but a lot of the time when I want to get stuff done, it's like it's the whole like, if you write it down, then you'll find time for it.
Yeah. And the crossing it off gets you a little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
A little bit of a reward.
Good self-discipline.
Yep. Then you got habit stacking time for stuff. Maybe I should just write the book.
Right? Yeah, same thing with Tenor saying that, like, yeah, doing Japanese every day, you just get in the habit and everything.
Yeah,
It just happens.
Things that are less you can do every day, like exercising every day, isn't necessarily a good thing because you need to let your muscles relax.
Yeah.
That's a harder habit to form.
Yeah.
And I talk about how to like actually form that habit. Well, I plan to.
Right.
That is not the only thing, but of all these sections that I God damn it, God damn it, because I said that, I was gonna say sorry. Can I please click the right thing? Yeah, of the 5 chapters, habit building is the one I'm like most confident about than still.
Mhm. Is that because of personal experience?
Yeah,
You think? Yeah, I thought so.
and yeah, they're just really thought out in my head.
Right.
I'm quite good at developing habits, and I like to think I'm quite good at developing skills.
I mean, it's something that you like, these sort of things that you live by that help you develop these things anyway, so I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
makes sense that, like, you're good at it. Yeah. Why can't you? Okay, you want to like two.
What else?
Whoops.
is there? I guess you wait for them.
Yeah.
I just, so last week, well, leading up to last week, I wrote loading aspects, and that was it. I have no idea what that meant.
I wonder. Learning aspects. Yeah, I'm clueless.
I've got, like, it's tab on TIG and harder. So, But I feel like that question isolates Tenor pretty much.
Yeah, at the moment at least.
Yeah. Whereas every other question he can get involved in.
Awesome.
As in like every other question I've asked.
Yep, yep, yep.
Which compliment listening to talk about activities you're an expert in. Skills you accurately develop, going back to things you were good at but now not good at. I think that question is interesting for this group of people too. As in me, you, and Tenor. Because of our age differences.
Oh
Tenor
yeah.
hasn't, because Tenor hasn't had as much time to develop a skill, firstly. And Danny hasn't had time to forget the skill.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Whereas I'm patient
You have a lot of
I've forgotten a
experience and
lot.
stuff, yeah.
I forgot more than what you know. I can't wait to be old enough to use that quote.
Nice.
I kind of get the like some people already. I
Gotta
should like
find-
send you some screenshots of some conversations I have with a particular family member. You will probably appreciate the wittiness of them.
Okay.
The psychological warfare stuff kind of got involved in, I think.
Yep.
Are you a good person? Which ended up being it's still a good person. And have you tried to write down your models? Which to Tenor. I think Tenor's like not entirely wrong in his assessment that he's a bit too young for it.
I actually understand. Yeah, that honestly, the fact that he's aware of that, even like,
Yeah.
being aware of your limitations, is a
Yeah.
big deal. So like, just him saying that, it's like, wow, there you go.
But I think he should be writing down goals.
Yes, I think that there's something to be said about like, yeah, that's just strongly applicable,
You should
regardless.
probably start doing that like 9 or 10 reasonably.
Yeah, I think so.
Start like not even long term thinking, just a couple of weeks in advance. Like you're gonna save this pocket money to get this.
Yeah, that's right.
Because when you're really young, you don't have this long term idea.
You don't have much to lose either, really.
Yeah. Oh, was that an okay? You're
So
back?
sorry.
No, that's a good. That's a good.
Good news. It was my mum, and she was just telling me that, like,
Hello, here's $60 for 52.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I was
dang.
like, I showed her that it was out, and she's like, oh yeah. And yep, now I have all her money out.
Nice.
I think I might be rolling in the money. Just kidding. I'm too scared to use my parents' money without telling them.
Oh, of course. You should.
Yeah, I think that's a good fit to have.
Yes, I think that is
Because,
correct
like,
fit to have.
I found out that they could see how, like, what gets used, and ever since then I was just like, there's no chance. That's just too far. There's some things even I won't do.
And then there's my sister who stole my mom's money when she was younger to buy potato jams.
It's something like weirdly wholesome.
You have to give it to her though. Potato gems. Everyone loves potato gems.
We do love them, but like it's one of those things where she should never get punished, so it's there's no lesson learned. It's just a funny story.
Wait, am I waiting to play adventure mode on
Like wait for
Well,
tomorrow? Because I feel like
am I waiting for you or
up to you, but like I'd have fun like adventuring with you and enjoying the story as well.
oh my god, now you're giving me I feel bad because I'm hyped.
The other thing is you can also play it in advance and then like see my reactions afterwards and be like, oh yes,
yeah.
like
Know
you can be
what's
excited.
coming and when to anticipate Yoshi's excitement.
Well, I mean the first thing I'm gonna do is get to first on Australia. Like,
Dang, you have the heads up.
I mean, you're not gonna do 1-1 like 20,000 times.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna like set a speed one time, like stage time, or like single stage time.
oh, shut up.
I was talking about a full speed run, but
Oh, okay, that too.
so 1-1 over and over
That
and over.
too.
That's how.
It's okay.
That's how
Boo.
that's how it works.
I figured I told him in the end.
Oh, Chaos, by the way, welcome. Yes, I am doing well,
Yes.
Plus. Thank you for the clarification,
Welcome.
lecturer. Just to make it more fun, because I've never fully completed the game.
I still haven't eaten yet.
Honestly, I'm just too careless. I'm sure if I took a bit more time, then I'd like have finished it. But like I done it more 5 earlier. Like yeah, I'm just careless. I don't mind.
Well, you're also not meant to be concentrating on the game now.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing, right? Like that's why it's. That's why I just run into the. But yeah, that's right. Like because I'm not focused, I don't care. We don't need to be beating it anyway. If we die, it's just a side effect. It's just background noise.
Tenor, are you still there? Or?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Finishing
did you
your
want
thing.
to finish your thought about writing down goals every day?
Yes.
Like what you're going to do the next day and crossing them off as you do them.
I feel like that would be really good for me
I think so
because if you, I'm not very good at sticking to things.
That's why you write it and you cross it off, and once you get in the habit of doing that, you would like feel you'll be like, yes, I get to cross something off. I'm going to do it so that I can cross it off.
Because it's just like you get to vibe when you finally do something. It's like the satisfaction.
Right.
It also gives you direction.
Yes, that's right.
So once you do one thing on your list, you're like, well, what's the next thing on the list? And there's some inertia to that. So once you can get the first thing on your list done, the second thing's so much easier to do no matter how hard.
It's like writing the introduction to your essay.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I do not like introductions. But then the bodies are fine.
Yeah.
Introductions are easy, it's the bodies that hurt.
Really? The body
Yeah, no,
feels like the easy thing for me because the thing is, when you plan it out, you're looking at like what you're going to put in the body, right? You're not planning your introduction.
Well,
really.
I suppose my only experience has been like timed. Timed essays. I'm given an hour and 20 minutes.
No, timed essays are gross.
And I have
let school no, with their education.
No notes, and then you have to like. I'm good at. Can I figure out another word because the word I usually use is very crude.
Today you're 14. You're allowed to be a little bit.
Fine. I've gotten very good at bullshitting the body if I can find something that's loosely based on what I'm trying to get into, and then twist it so that it like checks out. It happened in very spectacularly. I got a letter of commendation, I think, because I was talking about the Cold War in my essay about this movie set in the 60s about racism. And it checked out somehow, and I got really good marks, and I'm still surprised about that. And tomorrow I get my essay, my exam results back, so feeling good about those.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I remember in English I had a terrible. Did I tell this story last week about my terrible English teacher and the like extended metaphor essay?
Nope.
Cool.
Nope.
All right. So had an extended metaphor essay. Sorry, creative writing thing on essay. Where I went for a chess game and a like general and a battlefield metaphor. Like both people, like chess player directing stuff, making battle plans and whatnot.
Yeah.
And got terrible marks in class. Rewrote basically exactly the same thing for like either school certificate or HSC. Got great marks. Yeah, no, it must have been for school certificate because that teacher hated me. My HSC teacher liked me.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty salty.
No, to be honest, I think a lot of like the values of English teachers are great, but like at the end of the day, it's the English teacher's perception that's gonna get you your marks. So if they see the curriculum writes shows an like really good understanding, it's if this understanding lines up with what the teacher knows. So I know, like right. you learn to kind of like if you really get into it, you learn to like kind of cheese the system because you're like, does the teacher say that this technique is used? Okay, write that down. Say that technique is used because the teacher knows it. So it's like okay.
It's more of the don't let your school and get in the way of your education.
That's right. So coming to recognize that I think is super important because then like a lot of people get let down because they're like, oh no, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't do what the school wanted you to do. And yeah, that sort of hurdle. It's rough.
Yeah, a lot of like teachers don't want to learn.
Yeah.
Because if they were open to learn, they would learn from their better students who write things that they haven't thought of.
That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly that. It's unfortunate, but it's just how it is.
Yep. Same with like maths. Like there's a bit of show all your work in that we understand,
Mm-hmm.
you understand, but then there's a bit of this is just wasting mine on your time.
Mm-hmm.
I can subtract 2 from both sides and multiply by 4 at the same time.
Yeah, right. Whew.
Like you're literally never gonna see that in a maths paper unless it's some kind of AI doing maths kind of thing. Right?
Oh yeah, fair.
That you're always gonna see this equation can be simplified to this, and they're never gonna explain anything.
No, you never need to. Just plug it into a calculator if you really want to,
Yeah,
like, see all the steps. They can show you the steps now. It doesn't matter.
Or even like this follows by induction. Like,
Yeah.
it's a super common line. Induction is very rarely ever actually done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's well understood, but it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
Generally very clear how it's done.
Yeah. I guess it's just like being able to recognize those things as well, like just comes with experience as well, so it's not really anyone's fault for not.
So yeah, I think Tenor should at least spend a week writing down everything he's going to do the next day before he gets to bed, and then
Yeah.
and then report back in a week's time.
Yeah. Report back is
How
big,
productive
big
you
idea.
feel. Yeah, how productive do you feel in a given day, Tenor?
I think this would help with Boo a lot as well, actually.
I suspect.
Sorry.
There's Tenor. Tenor, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
It depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling happy, productive in the sense of like I'm doing work, or I'm having I'm being productive at like.
Productive in the sense that
learning
you're
new
getting
skills,
done
like-
what you wanted to get done.
Yes,
For
not
that day.
not just
Yes.
school and stuff, but
Yes,
like what
and-
you wanted to do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how productive do you feel like you are on average?
4.
Alright, try writing stuff down and crossing it off. So write down the night
Okay.
before. Write down the night before you go to before you go to bed. Write it down. Whatever your
Yep.
plans are. Spend 5 minutes doing it. Like you don't need to spend too long. It doesn't even need to be a long list. Just a few things on it. Maybe 5 at the most. And if you don't finish the list, that's okay. Don't like stress about it.
Yep.
But as you finish things on the list, cross it off. And then I'll ask you the same question next week about how productive you felt throughout the last.
And we'll see.
And maybe
I'll be.
write
I'll
down
get
at the end of
GM. I'll get GM
you
because
probably
it'll be
will
on my list.
no. Sorry. Write
simple
down
things.
things. Yeah, as simple thing as possible. So like, but be precise with it.
Simple and specific, exactly. I was about to point that
Yeah.
out as well, because that's huge.
So go for a run is better than do exercise, but go for a 20-minute run is even better.
Yeah. 'Cause then you can't just like half-ass it and go, well,
Yeah.
I did it.
You have to do at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can always do longer, but if you're setting
Again,
yourself a 20-minute
I
run,
think
you have to do at least
I
20.
think I'm
Probably
good
can't go for that.
with stuff like exercise because I make sure to walk to school because
Yep.
it stemmed from I used to walk to school, I hated it, I started getting the bus, everything was crazy. Then Corona hit, I couldn't wake up early enough in the morning to catch the bus because I was always slow getting out of bed. So I
Yep.
decided to walk again. I don't know. It's the only reason I'm not like a beach ball right now.
Like, yeah, the running was just an example as well because I could come up with 2
Yeah.
different layers of specificity for it.
Absolutely.
So like, there's a couple of YouTubers who kind of talk about this kind of stuff, and some of the like things to do for the next day are play 30 seconds to the end.
Because
Because
if
they
you
know
set
once
that
they
amount of
start,
time, you'll get into it.
Yeah, as soon as they start, they'll just keep playing. But if they don't get into it and they're actually feeling complete garbage, they've kept up the habit.
Yeah.
And giving up the habit to start is way more important than actually playing 30 minutes.
That's right.
And yes, I did say 30 seconds to play.
I was gonna say.
And like that is what they actually like write. They write down they're gonna do 30 seconds again. And then they end up doing way less. Like
Yeah.
studying at uni is weird as well. Like when you have to study by yourself, where you're not given too much direction. You're way more productive if you study for like 30 minutes than if you sit down and study for 3 hours, because the 30 minutes is so much more restrictive. You're far less likely to get distracted.
My teacher told us that like the human brain can only really like sit down and like be absolute gamer at something for like 45 minutes, and then
kind of.
yeah, and then made the joke of like, then why do we have hour and 20-minute classes?
Like in general, your teacher's basically right. Like
Yes,
30
in general.
minutes. But you can definitely train that skill, and people who do really deep research sit down for days just to train themselves.
Yeah, you can
Like
get better at it, but in
Yeah, the general thing. And yeah, that sounds about right.
99% of students should not be in an hour lecture.
No, it's
And you can
so
plus 2 hour lectures.
silly. Everything is 2-hour lecture. They have to book it that way.
But yeah, sitting down, studying for half an hour, and then swap into something else, so much better than sitting down for 3 hours and studying that first.
Absolutely. Unless again you've trained yourself.
Yeah. Like, in the 3 hours, you're like, oh, it's 2 seconds on my phone, what happened? In the 30 minutes...
Oh no, time is running out.
Yeah, that's a way larger portion of your time. I'll go grab a coffee. Nope. That's like 5 minutes of my time.
Yeah.
That's a 6 of your time in a half hour.
Yep.
oh my god, 5 minutes. Oh my god. You start realizing that you're just like, wow.
That's almost 30% of the time.
Yes.
And you've just like, you can prepare that coffee before you start studying.
Exactly.
So you don't need to get up.
I think my biggest problem when I sit down to study, I put music on.
And then you scroll through YouTube and stuff,
I
right?
get so pedantic with my music. Like, sometimes this is not good. I want another one. Oh, I think I like Puyo. Oh wait, no, I want Boys Theme.
I'm pretty sure the worst music you can listen to is lyrics in a language you understand. Songs with lyrics in the language you understand.
Rhythm Heaven songs in Japanese. I love it.
Do you understand Japanese well enough to understand this?
No.
That's
Like,
that is fair.
I know the English translation, that's literally about it.
But yeah, like, because if you can concentrate on something else, your brain will naturally just start concentrating on that as well.
That's right.
Like, even if it's just taking away a little bit of your concentration power, it's still stuff that's not going to what your primary task is.
I was gonna say one cool thing to do is so for Tenor specifically, putting on Japanese streams helps me a lot because like even though you don't understand it, like that's a good thing, but it's also like you get more familiar with the way of speech and stuff. So
it's like how they speak.
Exactly, right? So it still benefits you.
Konnichiwa.
Instead of konnichiwa. Yeah. Exactly. So like you end up like benefiting from like being in the quote unquote natural environment of it, while still like again you're not focused on it because you don't understand a word, or like you might, but like yeah, you're not gonna focus on it because you don't understand. You're like whatever. So there you go.
I wonder if like listening to music, if you really understand music, is a bad thing.
Huh.
Because it's basically a second language, right?
It is. I wonder.
You wonder?
I wonder if that's harmful then.
Like, let's say you're studying maths, but classically trained pianists, and you're listening to some classical piano. Doesn't have to be detrimental to you. In the same way that, like, listening to a Spice Girls song or something. You guys are old enough to know who the Spice Girls are?
I know who they are.
I know who they are, kind of.
That's a good answer. No, I
don't even ask me anything about them. I know they're
I just know they exist and they
Can you
make
name the
music.
5 Spice Girls?
No. I just know they exist and they do music.
there's Posh.
Yeah.
Spice. Posh Spice. Baby
Spice
Spice.
Girls.
Ginger. Sporty. Oh, what's the last one?
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I don't know. Anyway, like, it would be bad for us to listen to those songs while studying because the lyrics are very clear. Because they're like poppy songs.
Yeah.
Poppy songs are generally fairly clear on the lyrics. And we'll just get distracted by it
Yeah, absolutely.
because we understand what's happening. But yeah, someone classically trained in piano would understand classical piano quite well and be gravitating towards certain signatures in. Signatures is probably the wrong word. Certain characteristics of particular
Yes.
classical songs or songs inspired by classical.
Huh, that's very interesting. Would have to ask someone about that at some point. Just quickly in chat. Griffithsol, this is Mario 1.
Do I know anyone who is both like classically trained in an instrument and also fairly self-reflective?
I play guitar, does that count?
You're not particularly self-reflective yet. No offense.
What does that mean?
Willing to write down your morals for a start.
Oh, come on.
No, you're just not old enough to be
Why can't,
like your brain's not developed
why
enough.
can't it
to
be something simple?
reflective enough.
My brain is
you need to
so
be.
developed right now.
You're almost 50.
Well, give me a month and I will be 50. Wait. A little
Like-
bit less than a month.
There's
5 days.
biological
4
stuff
days.
that you can't overcome.
Yeah, that's right.
In the
not
same
your
way
fault,
that like a 1-year-old is not self-aware.
1 year doesn't even know what object permanence is. Wait.
Yeah, right.
I think they
Well
do.
done, Tanner. No, I think it's
do
6
they?
months. 6 months that they develop it.
Yeah, it's like 6 months or something.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yes, I did psychology last year, I swear.
Object permanence is weird though, right?
It is.
Like, how do I say what I want to say? Like, this is an idea I've had for ages. I just haven't really formulated it that well because it's stupid. So it's hard to
What
talk
is
about.
this? I'm so curious.
So, in 3D video games, right? You've got a camera,
Okay.
and you're only seeing stuff that's on that camera. Like,
Yes.
the computer's only rendering that stuff. Ideally, it's not rendering stuff outside of your field of vision.
Yeah.
How can you tell that? Like, can you set up an experiment where you can tell that the universe that's not in your vision exists? How you? Sorry, let me word that a bit better. Can you set up an experiment to tell the universe exists in a way that you would expect it to exist if you turn around or walk out your door?
Can't you just ask someone else?
No, because that's you just observing.
Oh. I would say the same about a camera, but that's like observing
Yeah,
through
yeah.
a camera.
I am trying to imagine you in a universe by yourself, basically, with no recording devices or anything like that. Can you set up some kind of experiment so you can tell if the things behind you are how you would expect them to be if you turn around, or if there's just a mass there, which is the perfect sum of all the masses of things behind you, so all the standard effects that happen correctly. in
Wait,
the
wait,
stuff
wait,
you
wait,
can
wait.
perceive.
So couldn't you just like put I don't know, because I'm probably gonna get this wrong because you just loaded my brain with big words.
I
Don't want an explanation. Couldn't you just get like some sort of UV paper or something that like glows in the dark, and then you get like a lamp and you shine it at the UV paper and then you turn away from the UV paper, but you're still looking at the lamp, right? And then you turn back around after a while and you see if it glows.
yeah.
Would that work? Because, or would you have
Yeah,
to
you
turn
could
away
do-
from the lamp as well?
You can do simpler, I think. You could just turn away from the lamp and have it.
Yeah, if it's still
Oh.
lighting up.
Yeah. No,
Oh
you could.
yeah,
No, you
because
could
if
have
you
the light you could have the light outside of your room, say, and then go out there.
if you're facing away from the sun,
No, I think you. Oh, hang on, no, go with your thought. Let's hear your thought. My thought's different. Yeah.
because like if you're saying if if you're saying like with the lamp, couldn't you do it like really easily by just like turning away from the sun? And if everything's still lit up, then oh, but that's just what you can see though. That's not talking about behind you, isn't it?
So, could you have a lamp outside your door that is completely like sealed from light with the power cable for the lamp in the room? Turn the lamp on. It heats up. Turn the lamp off. Go out the room. Touch the lamp if the lamp is still hot. That indicates something was happening there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like not a well thought out idea at all. More of a how does the universe render everything properly? Like, oh,
Is
it
it,
kind
is
of comes.
it fairly optimized?
Yeah, it kind of comes down to a compression question. How much information is there in the universe? Can we simulate a universe this big within the universe itself?
Wow.
And that is an open question.
That's so interesting.
Like there's thought experiments about simulations as well. So if we're in a simulate, oh no, if a civilization can get to the point where it can simulate a universe
It's
as complicated as ours,
yes.
it is likely we are in a simulation already.
Right. I understand that thought.
How do you understand that already? Have you heard this before? Or? Did you just like
I
haven't
might.
watched The Matrix, Xyrnq.
I might have
No.
like heard this before, but that makes sense because then if you can develop something that's no, that makes sense.
It doesn't need to be as complicated as our universe. It has to be something that is complicated as a universe that can foster life.
Yeah.
Yes,
'Cause it's just
because
saying,
you're
like,
simulating
if-
something that you yourself is like fully capable. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think I understand it. I think.
Like,
Um,
it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but you can get it in the sense of like, if we can do it, has it already happened? to
Yeah,
us?
Like on an
and
upper level.
the answer to that is probably yes, if we can do it.
Yes, right.
Because,
So does that mean that it's recurring? Like,
yeah, that's right. That's why it's probably a yes. Because if we can do it, that
Yeah.
means the people we simulate can do it, which means the people they simulate can do it, and so on. And the chain has to be really long. But why would the chain ever start with us? Like, it's way more probable
That we're
we're
just a
further
lower
down the
level.
chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's an infinite number of simulated universes going all the way down, the chances that we're at the top of that simulation chain is 0. Where 0 is very strictly defined in a mathematical sense.
Yeah, like probability 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I forget who came up with that idea, but it's like relatively recent in terms of like actual science, not sci-fi stuff. Like
although I guess it would have been talked about ever since like, The Matrix and stuff.
no, it's slightly older than the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean,
But like the
shut
idea
up.
that was brought up in that movie
Yeah,
is
it
like
was brought
it's
to, like, the
indicative of the
general-
thought existing.
It was kind of popular.
Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
way to put it. Even though I haven't seen the movie, but like.
You haven't seen the movie?
No, I will. Don't
Oh.
worry. My friends and I like came up with like a huge list of movies that we need to watch because like either
Ooh.
me or they haven't watched.
What else is
Ooh,
there?
ooh.
There's so much.
Yeah.
It's all on my phone. I think I can.
Can
There-
I
there's a
add one to
lot
that
of-
list?
What is
Happy
it?
Gilmore.
Cars 2.
Happy Gilmore.
Okay, interesting.
Happy Gilmore is one of the best movies. It's just so stupid.
Noted.
So-
Noted.
Like it. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite movies. Just yeah. It's very chill.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's one of Adam Sandler's like first movies. So
Right.
Not Adam Sandler repeated over and over. And he's got like this super fine recipe that works.
Mm.
Yes, Boo, that is exactly what I'm saying. Was the universe really poorly optimized with silicone? Um, what led to that conversation? Was it somehow going from Tenor writing down his goals for the week to is the universe a simulation?
I don't remember where that came from.
I have no clue. But I
I
like
love
it.
it though. It's so good. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's completely fair. It's good that like having these conversations allows us to open up so much.
It does. Um, yeah, I've got some cool questions for next time too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't need to think too hard about them. I can just add stuff as they come along.
Absolutely, this has been really, really fun.
Like the first week was a little stressful because I was like, I need to have questions.
Yeah, but then it
But
just
now that
keeps
I have
building,
a couple
doesn't it?
there, there's no pressure.
Yeah.
And I can just add to stuff as they come up.
Yep.
I don't have to actively sit down and think
Again,
about
it's always the start. It's the hardest part.
Yep. I will post in the Discord as well what we talked about today.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, should probably like add it to the description.
You know what's funny?
What?
I was
Me?
about to say that
What's that?
exact same thing. I was like, once you said that, I was like, yeah, I'll get around to adding them to the description because I didn't do that with the first one, and then you said it. So,
Great minds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about this. Nah, it'll be useful. I agree.
It's okay, but Boo.
Ooh, we need to talk at some point.
Uh-oh. Don't say it like that.
Or say it like that.
Yoshi and I are gonna do an intervention. Not on stream.
I've been trying to intervene, but Xyrnq, you are very smart too, so you should also help me. Help him. Help the world. I hope those of you who have been like tuning into these streams have gotten something out of this as well. Like, I'm sure because you guys have participated as well, but I think there's a lot of valuable things that we've discussed here that like these are the sorts of things when we talk about like, oh, people need to be aware of these things. Like, we say it, but like that's why I'm sharing this sort of thing, like sharing this as a stream because I want more people to be open-minded and thinking about these sorts of things. It's really valuable.
There's some armchair psychology stuff which we think we're probably right on, and then there's some stuff where we're actually really good at that stuff. So, for example, I've been teaching for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I know a fair bit about teaching at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm far more confident in saying that things will work more generally in regards to my teaching stuff than I am about the stuff that's very specifically worked for me in terms of psychology.
That's completely fair. That makes sense.
So, like, writing things down and doing them the next day, crossing them off. Armchair psychology works very well for me. I know it works well for some other people, but I don't actually have any data on it.
Yes, fair.
Whereas things about like learning, I am pretty confident that is at least going to work for a large majority of the population.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Yeah. I think the main thing, yeah, we're not
Yeah.
experts. We're just a bunch of nerds talking about things and...
Talking about things that have hopefully worked for us.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's just the idea of it. Even if it doesn't work for you, you have the idea. Maybe you can suggest it to someone else. Maybe you can explore yourself more. Just think for yourself. That is the true takeaway.
It should hopefully give you some place where you can
start.
Yeah, either start or build into your own ideas.
Exactly, building on things. Again, just think about things.
Yeah, I do think the writing is very important, and I suspect most people who have became good in academic circles of psychology and philosophy would say writing is very good for getting better at anything. Like, I know that MHL just wrote down a lot of stuff to do with TGM, so he can document for himself his progress, so he can analyze when things have gone well for him and when things have gone bad.
Right.
Even just having that little bit of history there for him has been helpful.
Yeah, right.
Even if it hasn't directly improved his skill, he knows that he needs more sleep today, or he will play better at 4 p.m.
Yeah, right. And that's just data.
But yeah, that's what starts. But yeah, the idea about writing things down to put thoughts in order rather than having a conversation with someone where they can complete your sentences and finish your thoughts for you. And then the next best thing is sitting there by yourself, and then writing down is even better.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Cool. Right. You can end
Yeah.
stream whenever.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I think that's a wrap
say
for today's
goodbyes.
session. It's been... Wait a minute.
It's been 3 hours 20 minutes.
The Super
go for one
Mario
more?
Bros.
Oh my god.
counter stays on... I didn't realize it stays on 99 coins. Oh, I guess everything up there
really?
stays the same. The points and the coins stay the same. Like, he steps on the Goomba and gets the points, but like I never realized it never actually adds to points.
Blessed.
Clearly. The demo is fake. I can't believe this. So bad.
There's 2 demos as well, right? But it's the same inputs. It starts at a different stopping source or something.
Is there?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's different pixel. Huh. That's so interesting. Nah, I have no idea. I haven't heard about this before.
Doesn't he like get all the way through at one point? Doesn't he get stuck at one point?
I think it gets killed by the same Goomba.
Never mind. Maybe I'm thinking of something completely different.
I wonder. I'm curious now.
I feel like there's a demo screen in something where it's just off by some small amount, but it's hard-coded inputs.
Maybe it's one of the other Mario games.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's always this Goomba. Between the pipes.
Maybe they've.
Ooh. Who says that you can actually influence the SMB1 demo?
Huh.
Interesting.
How so? Yes, we do love eBay.
Oh yeah. We asked what your productivity was.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a useful technique for everyone. Like, everyone can answer, everyone can apply these things. Oh.
Maybe that's what I'm.
Yeah, I'll try all of these.
Ooh, something else while we're still streaming. Yeah, we're still.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of my goals as a teacher each year or each semester is to make my students not need me for that particular content by the end of the semester. Like, I want them to never need to ask me another question about it. I want
That
them
makes
to
sense.
be self-reliant and only come to someone in a position of more knowledge than them when they're absolutely out of ideas.
Yeah.
So that little ramble was inspired by who saying no one responded to his productivity rating. It is less for us and more for yourself. Like, it's useful to have someone to help you through the beginnings of things, but you want to end up being relied upon yourself for the most part, if you can. If you can't, certainly find a fallback.
That's right.
You
It's
want
the goal.
Yeah, you want to not need people as much as you can, because one day need someone who isn't there.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't want to be selfish and ask them to drop whatever they're doing. But at the same time, you also want to be able to help yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, especially also, like, don't take that to heart just yet, because asking for people asking for help is like to build that thing in the first place.
Like, a semester at my university is 12, 13 weeks, give or take-ish. I don't expect students to be looking at the notes by themselves until at least a year. Like, that's 2.5 months for a course before I expect them to even begin being self-reliant.
So yeah.
And that's after they've already, like, studied stuff in it. Self-reliance is hard.
It is, truly. Oh well. One day. We'll all become better.
Hopefully.
For now, though,
Just be better than yesterday.
yeah, that's the spirit. Alright, so, that's gonna be it from us for today. We will be back with this, question mark. I suppose they're sort of weekly, but they're also sort of like question
Well, we
marky.
can.
Like when we can, yeah. So like it's not super strict, but I think people don't mind either way. The people who are like regularly here, usually you're just around for the streams anyway, and I really love it. Thank you guys for being awesome. I'm glad we can entertain you guys and whatnot. But yeah, we'll be back with more of that next time. And it looks like I didn't finish Super Mario Bros. I made it to 5-2 or 3, 5-2 or 3. So we are making progress. In the back. We are accidentally learning this game, sure. Maybe we can call it that. But yeah.
Very good.
Yes, very good. Thanks again to Tenor and Xyrnq for hanging out in and offering their thoughts. Xyrnq for being the nerd who decides to write down questions
Fun.
and makes it like possible. Good. If it wasn't fun, we'd have to have a talk.
That's what we do anyway.
You caught on. Well done. I'm very proud. Alright, that's going to be it from me tonight. For now, though, as always... Oh, actually, for tomorrow plans, PPT2. Regardless,
Yes.
we're going to do it. Yeah! I haven't received a message for work, so unless, like, usually what happens, I only get called on the day if someone, like, is having problems, but, like, last week someone was having problems, so like it's unlikely, it just from probability standpoint, that I'll have work. So maybe I won't have to go to work tomorrow, and that means we'll have the whole day. So look forward to it. PPT2 coming up. These guys will probably also be around to experience the story with us and whatnot. So yeah,
I'll probably be
Very
here.
happy.
yes, that'll be fun. But yeah, that's it for now. As always, I hope you all have a great rest of the day or night. I love you guys, and I'll see you all next time. Good night.